Chance, goal, brilliant. Just fantastic by Nicola Barella. And he does it! And Italy are champions of Europe. Forza Italia.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast, where you get your Calcio to go for the 200th time. I'm Frank Crivello. He's Richard Carmen. Richard, I can't believe you've tolerated me this long to want to do 200 podcasts with me.
Likewise, my friend. We've been through a lot. We've tolerated each other, so we go longer than most married couples. It's pretty scary, I guess.
We don't sleep in the same bed. We each think the other's an idiot, and neither of us can afford to leave.
Chin chin.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'll drink to that.
Salute, everybody. I got the this calls for a special occasion. We popped the Woodford Double Oaked for this one.
Nice.
So how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I can't complain. It's nice weekend over here on the East Coast, and lots of football, lots of great goals, lots of nice results. I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain, man. I just trying to keep up with watching it, and had to coach I had 5 games to coach this weekend. So my son's team was in a tournament and played 4 games. My daughter had a game. So, so between that, I'm trying to have an eye on what was going on with the Calcio, and got a pretty good grasp of it. And some very interesting results, as you mentioned, which I'm looking forward to diving into. But we're going to have help from a lot of people along the way. With this occasion, we wanted to, we tried to get as many guests as we could, but we're very, very happy that we got the guests that we have. We're going to have kind of a lineup, if you will. This is almost going to be like a radio show where we have like a different guest coming on after a little bit. So you have no idea who's coming on at each and every time. They are folks that have been on with us in the past, have been very, very supportive of the podcast, and we wanted to be able to have them be in on this and have them to be able to share with us. So we're really excited. You're not just going to hear from Richard and I tonight. You're going to hear from many other people. And Richard, let's not waste anybody's time. Let's get into it. Let's have our first guest on. Yeah,
let's have our first guest. Bring into the house, Mr. Michael Lisi. Michael, how are you doing, sir?
Good, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Michael, we're good. We think that you are one of the OGs when it comes to supporters of the show, like all the way from the very beginning when Richard and I started this out, when it was Richard, myself, and 2 others. In fact, we had like 4 people, manning the microphones, and you've been with us from the beginning. So it's only appropriate that you get to lead off the carousel of guests that we're going to have here tonight.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I think, it's funny. I think the first episode I remember listening to with you guys was, I think Raph was on, who's on later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, that kind of, I hadn't been on Twitter very long, and it kind of started my deep dive sort of into the, Serie Twitterverse, which is a very dangerous and murky place full of lots of potholes and criminals and God knows what else. But yeah, I mean, you guys, through all the different people you've had on, it's been great because, you have excellent guests on that links you all sort of about other, podcasts and personalities and such. So appreciate it, guys.
Yep. Not a problem. Let's before we'll talk a little bit about today's game against Juve. We've got a couple of guests to talk about that game. That was the marquee game. I mean, the Serie A gods did a really nice job of, letting Juve Milan fall on the night we were doing on our 200th episode. So that was pretty nice of them that they came through. But let's back up a little bit. All right, let's back up before the Lazio game. Okay, you see this fixture list: Lazio at Liverpool, at Juve. If I tell you we were coming out of there with a win, a draw, and a defeat, and in the defeat we were going to be competitive and we had our chances to get something out of it, you would have taken that and ran like hell with it, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I think looking into these 3 games, I think the most interesting thing was just going to be, first of all, the results, but also just how he was going to play it, how he was going to rotate, whether he was going to rotate a whole lot, whether he was, going to try to play the same 11 basically every 3 games. And that's what made every game even more and more interesting. And then, with especially coming into today, honestly, I had no clue an hour before the game who he was going to put out there. But
who was so healthy
at the end of the week, I'm happy with that set of results. No doubt about it.
These 3 games are very important, like you mentioned, because this whole month is going to be a gauntlet for Milan, really. And so to get off to a good start is important for them. And like you said, we didn't know how he was going to react, Pioli was, to all these games. And now with all the injuries coming up. So it's an interesting way to kick off this month-long gauntlet and this short mini gauntlet as well. So.
Yep, for sure. Let's talk about the Liverpool game quick. The first 30 minutes was clearly, a team that has not done this for quite a while, and you have to go to an environment like Anfield and play an opponent that just, not too long ago won a Champions League, won a Premier League, have a ton of pedigree when it comes to the world stage these days. So it's a very, very daunting draw to go right off the bat and go to Anfield. I would say, okay, the first 30 minutes, no question about it, totally belonged to Liverpool. They got 13 shots in those 30 minutes. They scored an own goal. Mike Maignan had to make a double save after saving a penalty and then having to save the second effort. But I felt strongly that from minute 31 to the end, the game was up for take those first 30 minutes out. The game was up for grabs, and that's at least the way I felt about it, watching them and watching the effort. What did you think?
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the first 30 minutes. I mean, fortunately, probably the 2 most experienced high level players we have are center back, which is Tomori and Kyer, and then they have a pretty confident goalkeeper behind him. I mean, he might not be have as much experience or games under his belt as some other guys. But, I mean, Maignan, he's cool as a cucumber. I mean, if our 3 most experienced guys for those first 30 minutes are like our 3 forwards, that's not a very pretty start to the game. But fortunately, those are 3 guys that know what they were doing. They took the other guys to task. I mean, you could see them on the field barking out orders, telling guys where to go, getting things under control. It took us a while because, that, like you said, that's just not the level that we're used to. That they come at you nonstop. There's no end. I wrote on my blog the other day, when we play in Italy, usually everybody comes after on Teo's end. They don't so much come down the other side because we got Calabria over there and he's a pretty good defender. But Liverpool doesn't care. They don't care who your fullbacks are. They don't care how good you are. Whatever, they're going to come down and do their thing. So they came right out a spot that other teams in Italy usually don't bother with, and we didn't know what to do with that. Frank's running all the way over the other side of the field trying to cover for Benacer. Then at one point they switched the 2 of them around. They put Benacer on the other side and had Kessie come to the opposite side. That lasted about 10 minutes. That didn't work. Yeah. And then, like you said, about that 25, 30-minute mark, we finally could breathe a little bit. We saved the PK. I think even at that point, Liverpool, felt like they had kind of, had their first throw of the dice, if you will. And after that, they kind of settled into the game. And then, we made some things happen. And I was, not only did we have that nice stretch before the half, but even, I rewatched the second half of the game. Even the 75th, the 80th minute, Rebic is still making runs. Diaz is still making runs. There was no quit in them.
Yeah.
I mean, they were under fire and they were having a hard time and they were frustrated, but they didn't quit. I mean, you could easily sat down and quit and ended up with a 7-0 game like a certain other Italian league team did in the Champions League a few years ago, if you know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I had to throw it in there. But yeah, at the end of the day, as frustrating as it was, I mean, there was a lot to learn in that game. You were jumping in the deep end, and it was okay. It was okay.
I'm curious how you both felt because, me watching the game, and Mike, you brought it up that both the 3 guys that you wanted to have the most experience and most calm were the guys who they were, the 2 defenders and the goalkeeper, right? We see in the comments that Kessie and Benacer didn't show up. Honestly, 8 of the 11 guys, or you can include the subs, didn't show up. Only those 3 guys really showed up. Yes, Rebic and Diaz scored a goal, but they all look bad, I think, other than those three. And I look at it from this perspective. It's the passion side of me looking at it, and the analytical side. The passionate side says I'm embarrassed the way they played. I saw Lisi, I saw your blog post. Yes, very much the same feelings as I did. They look like they're running out of the way. No one is prepared for the moment, either the Anfield crowd, which is huge, or just the moment of the Champions League, the first time in 7 years. And I was embarrassed at the way they were playing. Liverpool, granted to the guys, they showed heart. They could have easily been down 7-0 in that first half, and they kept fighting, kept going at it. But the analytical side of me is, look, the guys didn't give up. They stayed in it. They took the lead going into halftime. They were decent. They almost got a 3-1 lead coming out of the break. And then, they gave up the 2 goals quick, or the 1 goal kick, or 2 goals. Yeah, 2 goals. They stayed in it. It could have been a blowout of a game, a disaster of a game. We talked about this last episode, how the crowd will get to you, and they stuck in it. And so you got to give them credit for at the end. The passionate side of me wants to be pissed off about it, but they learned from this. I agree with you, Lacey.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of seeing how we were going to react. We saw them. We saw what happened. We saw their react, and then I agree with what you said, and like I was saying earlier, they at least just didn't quit. Kessié was frustrated and upset, but he didn't quit. Benacer a few times just, pardon my French, but shit his pants, didn't know what to do. Yep. But you know what? He got back up and he kept going. And same with Rebic and Leao. He has his moments where he's kind of.
He was key on both goals. He was key on both goals.
Yep.
Oh, huge. Oh, go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Good. I think I stopped being a passionate fan about 10, 12 years ago. And I think it just the banter era has just turned me into an guy that I'm just trying to find the silver lining in or just trying to find the brightness in the crap. And, so I tempered my expectations going into match day 1, going into that environment at Anfield. Is first game back, that is just an absolutely brutal game, to start off with. And I made the comments here on Serie Sitdown. I said, I expect them to go there and compete. I don't expect them to win. Okay. I expect Liverpool to win. I had it 2-1, but I want to see that we can compete. And this is an excellent measuring stick that could set the tone for the rest of the group. If we can go there, score 2 away goals, okay? Because when it comes to cup football, you don't give a shit how the sausage is made, okay? You don't. You're just trying to get the result, yes? So they got 2 away goals at Anfield in their first trial. They were winning at halftime. You can look at the stats and you can break it all down and say, okay, yeah, Liverpool should have won it running away. And of course, every British pundit is going to tell you that Liverpool should have blown them out of the water. That's how they do it. But when you dig deep and you evaluate it, it's like, okay, yes, for the first 30 minutes, I absolutely agree with you. This game should have been over. But the fact that Milan hung in there, they made some key things happen, and then were able to put themselves into position to take a lead at halftime says a lot. That's a big, big moment of growth for a young team that doesn't have the experience in this competition that a Liverpool does. I hope that this is something that springs them into the future games. We get Atletico at home next. And judging by how they played against Porto and judging how Atletico plays overall, that's not out of the question for them to win, and get 3 points on the board. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
let's move on to
football.
Go ahead.
It's all about advance, and in these group stages, surviving and advancing is basically a 1-goal loss on the road to the team that's probably the favorite in the group. That's because if you lose like 4-0, then not only are you worried about points, but you're staring at goal difference the whole time, and losing, being that far down on goal difference is basically losing an extra point. It's like a loss +1. So yeah, to me, that's sure we could have drawn 1. Great, that'd have been nice, but I don't think that was going to happen. 3-2, that's fine. I'll take it.
Frank is saying if Milan win the Champions League, it'll forever be now known as the sausage job.
Love it. I love that. Hey,
nice.
Give a shout out to the chat right now. They're lively tonight, wishing us our happy 200th here. Lots of people in the crowd. We see you all there. Thank you all for joining us tonight on this big occasion. Got some guests on deck here, but before we give Lisi his time to plug, Lisi, what you've seen so far, obviously the Juventus game today, all the injuries has to scare you, I think, or does it? Or does it scare you? Because I mean, you see going into this game, possibly without just minus Ibra, right? You're thinking, okay, we're in a good position, but as the week goes on, all these people are just dropping like flies. Does that give you a little bit of concern? Because I know in the last several years, Milan Lab has not been what it was early 2000s. Does this worry you, or just hoping this is a blip in the radar and doesn't, progress through the rest of the season?
It doesn't worry me a whole lot because we've seen guys get games off in the past with, let's say, very creative named injuries. When it comes to Italian reports, we hear about contused abductors of the left, I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? And it really just means we're giving a guy a game off. I don't know that all these guys are hurt as much as I think when they looked at this stretch of like 7 or 8 games, this was the rotation game. No, you had Lazio and Liverpool. This was the game you were going to have to rotate. You were going to have to kind of mix and match a little bit. I mean, sure, it stinks that we have Giroud or Zlatan available, especially because if you look at the number of guys that played 80, 90 minutes against Liverpool the other night, almost every single one of them was on the field today because unfortunately they had to be. So to look at this stretch, see this game as kind of the rotation game and come home with 1 point on the road against a team that you expect to be in the top 4 or 5 at the end of the year, that's fine because that's how you believe. You beat the crappy teams, and if you can draw against the good teams on the road and perhaps beat them at home, I mean that's the recipe to finishing in the top 4.
Yep,
so,
agree with that wholeheartedly. I think.
Okay, now the next 2 are. Oh, go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Okay. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, I think with the lineup that they put out, it's like find a way to just get something out of it. I mean, the way Juventus set up and then Juventus takes advantage, gets the early goal, and we have a quick counterattack. I mean, just poor overall team shape and organization on Milan's part on the corner to be in as high positions as they are. And then, Teo making an effort to try to head the ball, I think was back in the direction of Kessie. And it was an underhit ball and it falls to a Juve player and they just counter the other way. So, Allegri loves that. I'll say, okay, I've got my goal. You don't have a 9 against us. So I'm just going to set out to organize my team. I'll take some chances in certain situations to look for a second, but I can live with 1-0 with what you've put out against me, and I'm going to fight for that as much as possible. And in a game like that, I mean, I know hindsight's 20/20, but really your best chance to try to break that is to get something off of a set piece, and that's what Milan did on a corner. It was beautifully done from Tonali to Rebic. But then the interesting thing was, I thought over the last 10 minutes, Milan certainly looked the more likely team to win with what they had going forward, with the chances that they created. Just a pity that they weren't able to finish it. So, but in the end, you take the point. It's an away point that a lot of other teams aren't going to get, and you move on. So,
Lisi, you've been nothing but nice and kind to us. We are thankful for all the support you've given us over the years. 6 years. This is 6th season for us. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like Frank and I were talking. We know your time is precious. Before you go, please give a plug. Anything you want to plug, and tell people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Michael Lisi, AC Milan Michael on Twitter, and in there you'll find the link to our blog. Fosso de Leone. We're actually going to be hitting 15 years in the spring. At some point, I need to count up how many words and blog posts and all that bric-a-brac. But we have a good time. We have a very, very loyal group of commenters. And yeah, swing by if you get a chance, guys. And thanks especially again to you guys. Keep up the great work.
Yep.
Grazie.
Yep, Richard. Michael. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and we appreciate the support through the years. I got to say, I got to say, I'm impressed. This might be the most impressive background I've ever seen from a guest. I mean, you certainly put the money in it. What are we calling this? Between two velvet window treatments with Michael Lisi. Is that what we?
Yeah.
You got the between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis. We got between two velvet window treatments with Michael Lisi.
2 sheets in a fern with Michael Lisi.
Yeah, we got the fern too. It's brilliant.
It's Mike's office. She at least put some effort into it. Normally, I'd be sitting in the basement next to the dryer, next to a piece of drywall. So this is a little better.
Excellent stuff. Michael, thank you so much for your support and for your partnership and for continuing to plug us through the years. And, hopefully we don't let you down and that you keep plugging us on for many more years to come.
Thank you, Mike.
Absolutely. Thanks again, guys.
All right.
That's one down.
Yeah, the clicking stopped.
There it is.
You know what it is he spends all that money on that beautiful background. So that was it. He spends all that money on a beautiful background and so that just, the connection is, so we just learned it's Lisi. So
See, we resolved it.
Great stuff. All right. Who's next?
All right. Next is a good old long time friend of ours. Many of you all know him as Zio. We call him Rocco. Rocco, how you doing, my friend? Rocco Fasano in the house.
Gentlemen, it's very nice to be here. I'm very glad that you thought of me when you thought about bringing on a guest for your 200th. So first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't congratulate the both of you for
Thank
your
you.
200th. It's really, really well deserved, and I don't have a drink on hand tonight, but to many more, to another 200,000.
You don't drink. You got to find you got to find some alcohol with with the way you eat and drink. With the way you talk about with your diet, with how you do things. There's a lot of things that you just won't have. I mean, beer is clearly out of the question with you.
Definitely.
You got to have some sort of vodka or whiskey that's infused with wheatgrass or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we've mentioned on your show before, right? Like gin and bitters.
Okay.
That's the drink.
Fair enough.
That's the drink. So that's basically what you described. Get herbs, bitters,
yeah.
and gin's pretty clean. So yeah, but none of that tonight. By the time I realized I didn't have the time to run down and to grab a drink and celebrate with you gentlemen. But that's some of the things that I remember from being on your show is always fun, always a lot of banter and a lot of good jabs and stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, we're ambassadors for the Italian game in general.
Yes.
And we just want the game to go forward. We want to expand the pie, so each one of our teams can have a bigger slice at the end of the day. And unfortunately, not everyone thinks like that. And I'm not even talking about Twitter. I'm talking about the big boys at the big table in Serie. But it's always fun. I love your show, guys. So keep it up.
Hey, some of our other Canadian friends have say that we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be, right? Shout out to the
Right.
Weekly Podcast on that. So no,
For
You
sure.
got me fooled. Look at that background. Oh my God, Richard. I love that.
You got the books. You're to tell someone you got the
Frank,
books.
you're doing well.
Yep.
Well,
Yep,
they're all like fake. They're all fake books. There's no pages.
Not all Juventus books back there.
Those aren't old 45 records or anything like that. That's
over there are some over there, and then there's
okay.
Economic, politics, and all kinds of stuff on the other side. But yeah.
Excellent.
I'm not about to get up and show you that I'm just in my underwear. I don't want to get you guys banned.
That's what we have Steve for.
Please. Steve was shirtless. Steve turned up shirtless on an episode once, and I'm not. That's about the extent of. Children are trying to watch this. I think from time to time,
right.
notably my son. So, but he's a fellow Juventino like yourself. So this is the segment that he's going to be look forward to hearing tomorrow when this jumps out. So We'll talk about the Juve perspective of the Juve Milan game. We jumped into it a little bit with Lisi. But before we get into that, I just kind of want to jump in. Champions League just feels really straightforward. You guys in Chelsea should go through the group. You might get a little bit of a tussle from Zenit, but nothing that you can't overcome. But state of Juventus right now, because Allegri's back, Ronaldo's gone. It feels like watching Juventus through these first 4 games that there's a void and nobody has stepped up to fill it yet. And maybe it should be Chiesa. He hasn't played a lot, so far to start the season. But what's your perspective of what you've seen so far? I expect it to get better because historically this is what happens with Allegri's Juventus. They've had a lot of years where they've stumbled out of the gates, and then you get through winter and you blink, and there they are contending for another Scudetto. Where are you at on it?
And I think we'll be battling it with Venezia and Cagliari all season. All kidding aside, all kidding aside, I think we might be able to muster about 40 points this year, enough to stave off relegation. But are you saying Hellas Verona is a level above you now after the win over Roma today? My goodness, but Fatal Verona, as they used to say in Italy, Verona has tripped up quite a few teams. And when I say Fatal Verona, you as Milanisti know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, sure.
And especially back the latter part of the 1980s, they were a formidable side and just a testament to what Serie A was back in the day with heroes such as Fanna and a bunch of others. But enough about the going down the memory lane. Juventus this year definitely is currently in a forming stage. Whenever a coach picks up a team, and you're a coach yourself, Frank, you've done a lot of coaching. I don't know about you, but at least my observation is that if you don't know much about what's going on, or you're still trying to figure stuff out, you just go with a flat 4-4-2, cover as much space as you can in the last 2 lines, and then try to build from there. Allegri hasn't had his eureka moment yet. I recall back when I was intern at the time, it was a Champions League game against Olympiacos, and he had his tactical eureka moment that game with the 4-3-1-2 forming at the time. So I think he still needs to figure stuff out. He knows a lot of the players on this group, but a lot of them are new. There's been, despite he was only coaching 2 years ago, there's been a lot of turnover, and he's still trying to figure out some of the squad that he has. And just like a good tailor, he's trying to sew the perfect suit using the material that he's given.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Rocco, if you're going to be battling for relegation, at least you have the best manager for it, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, we talked about Juventus, how, the goalkeeper, say what you will about Szczesny. I think he is a good goalkeeper. You guys obviously have the attacking power. Your defense is pretty decent as well. It's the midfield that seems to be lacking at the moment. Do you feel that that's the biggest issue at the moment for you guys, or just that, as one of the commentators say, it's a lack of identity? What are your thoughts on what the real issue is for Juventus at the moment?
I won't kick the lack of identity argument out of bed, to be completely honest, but I would have to agree with, most commentators from the most populist sort of medium, Twitter, etc., to the TV pundits are all saying that Juventus is lacking something in that midfield. I don't know if things will change when Arthur does come back, even though that can be a game changer if ever. But other than that, we have a lot of very similar type players. You got grinders like Rabiot and like Bentancur and like McKennie, right? So, but just that quality difference in terms of opening up space, you just don't see it. So I would say that, that's the spot where we're still weakest. And the problem with that is that we're not there. We're there numerically. We have enough midfielders. It's just we don't have the right ones. So that means that you're going to have to sell in a bad market before you can pick anything up. And when you're selling players or looking to sell players that are the age and they have the wage demands that Ramsey and Rabiot have, for example, if those are players you want to get rid of, is going to be a very, very hard job to do for management. So, but other than that, yeah, I think in defense and the forward pack, I think are the areas where he has problems, but it just all needs to click. We saw in today in the first half, just the intensity that Juventus brought was incredible. And really walked away, as I would say, deserved winners in that first half. The problem was we could not sustain that, and we saw that come less or lacking. That was lacking, and it was evident that it was lacking in the second half in the midfield.
This game against Milan, this felt like this was on the way to being, classic Juve under Allegri. Get the goal and just manage your way through the 90 minutes and get the 3 points. We saw this so much with him through his first run, at Juve. They were never they're not a Hansi Flick team. They're not a Pep Guardiola team. They're not going out to beat teams 5 or 6-0. They're happy with 1, 2 goals. And they're happy with the experience that they've got in the back, the goalkeeping, and just keeping you out. And they were on their way. And it was really lined up for them to do it this way because Rebic is not a 9. There wasn't a 9 that Pioli could be comfortable with calling in off the bench. Pellegrini wasn't going to unlock this. Maldini was just kind of okay, this is nice. Let's put him in there in the last minute and see if we can put a ball on his head. And that was just about it. But it fell apart on a set piece. So can Juve win like this under Allegri? Are they going to have to win it like this under Allegri now until they find this identity that everybody's talking about?
They're going to have to win, period. They're going to find some way to win because so far, no wins in the season, despite the fact that we didn't play the toughest competition in the first 2 matches, had direct encounters against Milan and Napoli in the latter 2. But I think the team is hopefully slowly finding their way and finding a way to win. If for Allegri to come back and be like, what do you mean? Like before I used to, do the recipe the same way. And, the minestrone used to come out in the same perfect way like it did before. Now it's just a frittata. Now it's just a mess. It's just a bloody mess every time. We're just giving up goals, bleeding goals. And, what's worse is that out of 6 goals that we've conceded in the season, 4 of them are basically own goals, right? Like we brought those onto ourselves. So if we're able to eliminate, that problem area, then we'll already be ahead of the time, ahead of the game. With respect to how we gave up that goal, another mistake, right? I mean, you saw Szczęsny pull Rabiot's shirt, like, no, here, stay here. And sure enough, he moved forward and the ball went a little over his head and right on Rebic's head. So, really, Szczęsny must be said, a lot of Juventini, yes, sure, let's, if I may use crap on Szczęsny whenever he, if he does badly. But today, I think he deserved a gold star for several saves that he made. Especially
Kalulu at the end.
One on, exactly. That
Great
was
save on Kalulu.
I was thinking about right at the end. But otherwise, he was very safe hands on balls that were up in the air. Some of these balls in the past he's dropped, but instead he was spot on. So let's give it up for Szczęsny. That goal there, I think Rabiot could have been a little bit more careful, and just the coverage. I mean, one guy, it was just Rebic in the middle. He's not the tallest guy, in the middle of the box with 3 players around him, and they were just Locatelli and Rabiot, and I can't remember. And Chiellini was in the picture as well, and you just saw their faces as the ball. You showed in replay their faces as the ball just went into the net. And that was it. It's just 2 episodes. And, Milan really came out in the second half. You want to talk about the game. Milan really came out in the second half and I think earned that point. Juve did not show enough. And for a while, they had a few chances where they could have hit back on counterattacks. And Allegri put in some players that could do that had the wheels. Ken, Chiesa, right? Fast players to maybe hit Milan on the counter, and just at the perfectly wrong time, Milan draws the game up. The inertia, the momentum completely changes in the match. Where's our answer? Napoli scored 1-1. Where's our answer? No answer, no reaction. Milan scored 1-1. Where's our response? No answer. So that's concerning. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about character.
No, that's a great point. Obviously, going into this game, seeing a depleted Milan squad as it was, and then you guys getting that opening goal, a wonderful counter-attacking goal that Morata put away. You had to be feeling good at that time. And I think the first half, many people were saying this on Twitter, is like, this is one of the best first halves we've seen from Juventus in Serie A this season. So how big was that for Morata to score early as he did you guys scored early in the Champions League as well? How big was that for you guys in terms of momentum for this game and having the possibility of getting, possibly 3 points? We've got the 1 point, but how big was that for you to start the way you did?
Well, I don't know. I mean, my reference experience in recent memory is when Morata scores early and first. We saw the debacle that happened in Napoli about, a little over a week ago. So it was like, oh man, like here we go. Like great way. I mean, statistically, I like to be the home team and scoring the first goal, because especially Juventus and especially at home, there are tons, most of the time it does turn out in 3 points. And I like my chances that way. But how did it turn out, right? And this just goes to show it's a different team, a different game, and we can sort of get into our shell a little bit and be afraid to and then you start to clamp up, right? It's like I don't want to come out, and that only brings on more and more and more confidence onto the opponent, which in this time was Milan, and they grew over the course of the second half and got it done.
What's reasonable for Juventus now? Because it's a long season. There's still 34 games for everybody to play. But you're opening the season 8 points back right out of the blocks. Give me what's obviously acceptable is winning the Scudetto. You've gotten so used to it, but give me what's reasonable at this. I mean, looking at it now after what you've seen through the first 4 games. Give me what's reasonable for Juventus. Give me what's reasonable for Juve supporters. From here on, long term.
Well, I think from the outset. So before the season started, we were talking about Juventus being odds-on favorites, and that's just a fact. I mean, bookmakers were saying Juventus were favorite to win. After 4 weeks, I think that those expectations have lowered a little bit, and I would say. A Champions League finish, and who knows, like an honorable Champions League campaign would be something that Juventini wouldn't exactly be completely unhappy with. And last year Juventus landed that 4th spot thanks to a goal by Faraoni over in Verona, from Verona and Naples, and won 2 domestic trophies, of course, not the major one, not the Scudetto, and Juventini were just poo-pooing that and saying, what a terrible performance. And to me, like, to be honest, that is the kind of that speaks to how spoiled we've been as a tifoseria, as a fan base. So I think this is kind of a step back before we step forward. A lot can happen. We need to find our feet, and we need to turn this around and get back up there and fight for it. But with the likes of Inter running away and scoring 6 goals, and 4 and 6 goals it's crazy. So it's definitely a very competitive league this year. Less than 90 points will have to do.
Yeah. I'm still not ready to just start crowning Inter. I mean, yeah, it's impressive, but I mean, when I look at these wins, I mean, it's a Genoa, it's a Genoa that doesn't have padding anymore. They have Sirigo. It was a Verona being coached by EDF, and now it's a Bologna that's going to give up a ton of goals all season. So I'm not ready to the Sampdoria away is why I'm not totally ready to just hand this thing over to Inter yet, but we'll that's for another guest, another conversation.
Hey, if Napoli win tomorrow, they're 10 points up on Juventus this early in the season. That's huge for them. That's a lot to overcome. We've seen Atalanta overcome these kind of deficits in the past, so nothing's out of the question for sure. But many good teams this year. It's going to be difficult for anybody to really get in Champions League this year, let alone at a slow start like you guys are having so far. So
I'm not too disheartened. I can rest on the 30 plus Scudetti and very many seasons of with things happening. So once in a while, someone else ends it. Oh well.
You're not gonna play the living in the past card, are you, Rocco?
That's all we did. That's all Deliata did.
No.
I know we did it for years, so it's okay if you do.
Yeah. Can you let me know if I'll borrow the PDF me the playbook.
You got it. Google Docs.
Yeah, it's basically sitting around watching guys like Kevin Constant and
bow tie.
And crap like that, like Traore, the Traore, I can't remember his first name. He was playing in the midfield, and Ricardo Montolivo being captain, and looking at this and saying, "Do you know that Paolo Maldini and Cafu and Andrei Shevchenko and endless list of legends wore those same damn shirts not too long ago?" It's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, that was and I asked some of my followers, which 3 Milan legends would you pick, to play on Juve ever? And for me, like, my answer was, Gianni Rivera and Maldini and Van Basten. Just fantastic players, like world class players. I mean, we know about Maldini. I think very few people know about Van Basten, and no one knows Rivera. But and to be honest, not even me. But just what a great club Milan is, and I think that a lot of Milanisti are going to see some of that come back. You're getting your Champions League DNA and pedigree back. Had a fantastic outing in Anfield. I think you guys can walked out of there with your chest puffed out despite the defeat. Yeah, that's right. I love that shirt too, man. Richard, looks really good. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, hardcore Italians. Check them out, man. We're gonna check them out. That's where you can get that t-shirt. There's another t-shirt that I got to get from them. The "You Give Me Agita."
Oh God, yeah.
Can wear that in front of my wife and kids. And every time I'll just point.
Yeah.
They don't know what that means either, so it'll be fine.
I was gonna say, just don't teach it. Just say, like, "I love you so much."
Yeah, I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Yeah. You give me agita.
Well, Rocco, your time is precious, we know, but we want to thank you again for joining us and celebrate this wonderful night for us, 200 episodes for us. Tell people, obviously you run a fan club in Toronto there. Tell people where, about your fan club, plug anything you want, and tell people where they can find you on Twitter if they're not already following you.
Yeah, so Bianconeri YYZ, that's at Juventus YYZ, is where you can join our club. If you're from Toronto or Ontario or Canada or anywhere in the world. But if not, you can just follow me on Twitter if you wish at Catenaccio NA, and that's the name that you see here. And I'm very glad to shoot the breeze about Serie A and anything that these fine gentlemen like to speak about. I'll just end off by wishing you guys both the best, and again, congratulations on your 200th, and cheers to many, many more.
Well, God bless, Rocco. Thank you so much, and let's make your next appearance, a little more sooner than this one,
Wonderful.
From the last one. So
I look forward to it. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right. Good night, Rocco. That was Rocco Fasano. I think we got another person in the green room ready to make an entrance. We should probably keep score of these backgrounds at this point. I mean, we had
we should.
We had the lovely, wonderful appointments with the velvet
2 sheets, 1 fern. Yeah,
window treatments of Michael Lisi there, with the fern, and so we can forgive the audio because the background was so impressive, and we got the astute library. Rocco kind of carries himself. He's a professor. He kind of carries himself that way.
He's raising our standards. I don't know if
doesn't he? Yeah. I'm sticking with this, man. I might throw a few more jerseys on there. And listen, I mean, if people are watching this and who won Calcio backgrounds, I like it. I like it. No, I mean, heck, donate or steer me somewhere if you want to throw. I support Milan. Obviously, support the national team. I have a Palermo scarf up here, to kind of denote my heritage. Being from my ancestry, tracing back to Porticello, which is just outside of Palermo. So I'm happy to put up a Sassuolo if somebody's got it, or another club, and throw some other stuff on here. I'm happy to do that. I don't have to just limit it to, where my loyalties are.
Frank's got the right idea. Who won Calcio backgrounds? That's the next.
Yes. Brilliant. So right. Please tell me our next guest has a shirt on.
They do. They just got to finish their makeup as well. I've added a little bit red to the background to kind of signal who the next person is. It's another friend from up north. We got a lot of up north friends. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're big in Canada.
We are.
If I ever fly out there and set foot, people will know me. It'll be great. I think
my name's went on as Montreal. No. Speaking of Montreal, all the way from Montreal, Milan Weekly Podcast. Welcome to the show, Steve Polilo. Benvenuto.
Hey, he's got a shirt on. He's got a shirt on too. You dressed for the occasion, Stevie.
Of course, 200 episodes. Okay, wait. Everybody was super serious before I got on, and I'm not going to be super serious, so I want to take 2 seconds to be super serious. I want to say congratulations. 200 episodes is a lot. Big boys of Serie A need to take account of guys like you who do Serie A all through A to Z, Sassuolo to Juve to Milan to Lazio to all of them, Inter, Juve, Merda, all those ones there. Because we do it in English. The Italians need to pick up their game in English a little bit. It's not only the rap songs that you can learn. Start learning a little bit of English and pay attention, because we did it and we paid attention for the longest time in Italian. When there was a little pink newspaper, that's all we had.
Yep.
So guys, congratulations. This is not only for 200 episodes, it's for the content that you guys put up. I can when when I can, I'm in the chat room. I will come, I will help, I will support, because I really love what you guys do. And everybody else should. And it's about spreading the Serie A content and what Serie A means to us wherever we are, in America, in Canada, across the world. Guys, thank you.
He's going to go down in Serie A sit-down lore, because at one time when Frank was having massive technical difficulties, and it was just me trying to wing the show, Steve comes on with no shirt on, and helps him tremendously until Frank gets back on. That's going to go down forever.
And I cussed up a storm. This was the temporary replacement. A shirtless Steve Polilo.
Our highest ratings ever. Too,
you guys, you put me on after Zio. Zio's the professor. He's in fantastic physical condition.
And bring it back down standards.
Yeah, you brought it down back to real, the lowest level of all me. Ugly as fuck.
Well, no, look. Hey, he downplayed the frittata. You will play it back up for us. Frittata is amazing as long as you don't burn the eggs. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Burn the eggs. That's it. Yeah. Frittata is the best. Anything that you can put in a frittata is good. No, there's no real recipe to frittata. But let's get to the game, guys, because Zio, he was very nice and he was very very polite about what's happening. Guys, Juve's in trouble. Juve's in trouble because, let's face it, guys, they've been spoiled for the last 9 years, and I don't think they've adjusted to what Milan and Inter have done. Because the rest of the Serie A teams, you guys know how I feel about them. They had a window when the two Milanese teams were down and out. Mm-hmm. Inter with their financial problems, selling to I forgot who they sold after Morata sold and then sold to Suning, and we had a shit show of an ownership problem. Mm-hmm. Roma, Lazio, Napoli, all shit the bed and couldn't take a Scudetto off Juventus. So you know what? It's not Juventus to blame. But at a certain point, and I know you have the Juve guys that are going to chime in with this one. At a certain time, I think the arrogancy of the Juventino took over. Nedved and his flowing blonde hair had to say, hey, my midfield sucks of ass. Because, guys, I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but there was a comment from, I think it's Ollie Oxenfree in there. He said, Arthur, Ramsey, Locatelli will not save Juventus's midfield. They can hope, they can pray, but McKennie, Rabiot, Ramsey, non sono da Juve. This is not Juve. And even today, guys, today we watched a Juve Milan where we got a result. We got a 1-1. What's he writing, Rocco? I'm used to looking at the comments.
he calls you a gentleman and a scholar, and he is saying that frittata rules. So.
Frittata rules, of course. So today Milan got a result, 1-1, right? Yeah. If we go back in our banter here, the three of us, we understand what that means.
Yeah.
The new generation of Milan fans hopefully will never have to go through something like this. But we would have been happy. And you know what? I was happy at the end. I was like, yes, yes. But on my drive home, I started to get a little bit pissed. I started to get angry because I wanted the 3 points now. Now I want the 3 points. So Milan Club Montreal got together today at Chocharo's. I'm going to plug a little bit of Chocharo's, small bar in Montreal, fantastic sandwiches. And we watched the game, guys. And together, united, watching this, we kind of all had that same reaction where it's like, yes, we're good with this draw, but I think we could have got more.
But let me ask you this, Steve. Let me ask you this. Is Milan that elevated now where we can demand that of them just days after going to Anfield and fighting our socks off to try to get anything out of playing at Liverpool to now all of a sudden turn around, we got to go to Juventus, which is as daunting as it gets as fixtures go in Serie A. Me, myself, I say I'm taking that point and I'm running like hell with it because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to go there in our position that aren't getting that point.
I know, Frank, but we have to turn that corner.
Eventually, yeah, I get it. But
we have to turn that corner where, we got beat at Anfield, and everybody watched the game. We would be lying to ourselves, and I try to be as honest of a Milanista as I can. That game at halftime shouldn't have been 2-1, but it was. And like you said earlier before, I don't care how the sausage is made. At the end, I want sausage. I want to eat sausage. That's one for the clipboard there.
I mean, I care to an extent how the sausage is made. I don't want any like pollutants or carcinogens or anything like that.
What do you care about that? As long as it's salchicha
if you're eating
and it tastes good, we're good.
I guess if you're eating sausage, you said to hell with living a long life, right?
Originally was made in the motherland. Do you think they washed their hands? Do you think the everything?
Hell no.
So this is what I'm trying to say, guys, is that now Milan, Milan, guys, I was talking to a friend just before we're getting on the show, and he's a Roma fan, and he's like, he was watching the game as a neutral, and he's like, I couldn't understand why at the beginning of the game Milan was respecting Juve so much. Why were we respecting them so much? And you know what? He's 100% right, because it was for Milan to take the game to Juve. This is the corner that Milan and the fans need to take. We are Milan. We're not.
They should have learned from Liverpool match. Liverpool will cut your throat in a heartbeat. We should have done that to Juventus. They're limping at. Yes, we're not a full squad, but we should have gone right at them and make them, defend their lives out. And we didn't do that. Too much respect.
Yeah, too much respect. And we gave them a gift in the first 3 minutes. Same thing like at Anfield. It wasn't a gift, but we were down very early, and then. Guys, I just don't think this Juve is that strong anymore. I don't. And I think, throughout the years where Milan and Inter were not challenging Juve as we are now, more so Inter than Milan, I'll be very honest with you. But guys, this team has lacked in the midfield for some time. And CR7, am I a fan of CR7? You know what? This guy's killing me. Holy shit. What I just said. What to say? I really like those delicatessen meats. What do you want me to tell you? You put it in font size 28, man. Like,
people want to know.
Back to my thought is like, they've been missing in that category. And am I a CR7 fan? Yeah, I enjoy him. I think there's the Messi and Ronaldo debate. I'll always say this. I think Ronaldo is the superior athlete and Messi is the superior footballer, because I think Messi makes the players around him a little bit better. And Ronaldo, for about a couple of years now, these close games would have scored a goal, would have provided an assist. He would have saved them 3 points. He would have either collected these 3 points, and everything would have went away. Everything, their negative play, how they didn't look good in the midfield would have went away, and they would have concentrated on the 3 points. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but it's starting to catch up to them now.
Okay.
It for sure is. I think that it's interesting, the mentality looking at Milan now, kind of switching the mentality from Juve to Milan. After that game against Liverpool, it could have gone two ways for Milan, right? One, take, like Rocco said, pump your chest up. You did well in a difficult environment. Or two, pity yourself and then go on a real abysmal performance. And we weren't sure. Was this going to be a trap game for Milan? Started out goal in the 4th minute, but Milan didn't back down. They kept playing. They kept going away. As Allegri said, 15 more minutes in that game, Milan would have won. Milan started turning it on at the end of the game. What we've seen over the last many, many months, couple years, the mentality Pioli's created has been something of never give up, keep fighting on. And now we're starting to see a team, as like Phil says, this is a team that you can probably mention for Scudetto now, because they're good, they're young, and they've been there now. Now they get a taste of Anfield and the Champions League. It's starting to come together. We're not there yet, I understand, but the mentality is starting to grow, and this is what you want to see. I mean, Inter's kind of gone through this already. They're ahead of us right now, but it's a good place to be mentality-wise, I think, if you're a Milan fan.
The mentality is very important, especially for us. Milan Twitter is very bipolar. They love you one day, they hate you the next day. But I think this Milan is winning over a lot of fans in terms of they're leaving it all out there. Like today, I can start naming players that yes, in the past I didn't like their performance, but today I was like really impressed by. And one is Leao. Everybody knows I'm not a Leao fan. I think that he needs a little bit of polish in the final third, and yes, he is still young, but today he left it all out on the field.
Agreed. And I was actually just going to say what you just said. I said what I've seen from Leao through the first 4 games is he has raised the intensity. He's not the finisher that we would like yet. You're absolutely right. But last year we were looking at Leao and it's like, we got the Portuguese Balotelli. We got a guy that's just kind of standing around and picking his ass until like he can get a ball in the penalty area and score a goal, and then he's going to showboat when he scores. And it's like, well, you did fuck all for the other 89 minutes, and maybe that's fine if you score the goal that helps decide the game. But there's an industriousness to wearing those stripes, and there's a work ethic that Milan supporters demand of their players. We hate the player that wants to sit out there and wait for a free kick or wait for a penalty and say, hey, I won us the game because I got to take this. So that's just, to your point, I've seen Leao raise the intensity. I'd like him to be more clinical in the final third, like you said. I agree.
And clinical by meaning smart. You understand? I've said it on Milan Weekly Podcast, and the comments in the YouTube are just, Steve, you're negative. You hate Leao. You wish you would never play. I never said that. No. I said that in the final third, he's not polished enough, and that it really causes an 8 performance to become a 5 performance because there's so much garbage in there, right? Another guy who left it all out, Tonali. Today, Tonali left it all out.
Tonali played great.
Yeah. Was he perfect? No.
Correct.
But everybody who went mental against Steve when Steve said, "Hey guys, Tonali was trash against Sampdoria. He wasn't very good against Sampdoria." But hey, now you see that he's climbing. You know, hey, what was that game in The Price is Right where the little guy goes up the mountain there?
Cliffhanger. Yeah.
So he's
Frank knew
going
that in
up
2
there.
seconds.
He's going up there, and I hope he doesn't fall because it's good. It's been getting better and better, right?
I could even do the yodel if I have a couple more of these.
Oh my goodness.
So
Steve,
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say before we let you go, this next month we talked about this a little bit with Lisi. The next month is going to be a gauntlet for Milan. It started with these 3 games that we just had, but I mean, look at all the Champions League games plus all the fixtures in Serie A. Some big clubs in here this next month. How do you foresee this next month going for Milan here? Where are you going to be happy at the end of this month, or what are your prognostications here coming up?
Look, I don't like, and everybody knows I don't like predictions. I don't like to predict the score. Today, I actually predicted the score there with Raffa and the boys in that little fantasy that we have where we're picking everybody's final score and who wins. But the month is going to be tricky. It's going to be time to manage some minutes. We need to get back some of these injured players. We need to figure out why these injured players are getting injured. That's number one. And number two, we got to be smart about it, right? The Champions League is a goal in which I think these guys are going to get a lot of experience. I hope that they make it out of the group stage, but it's a learning curve. And for Serie A, we're going to introduce Coppa Italia soon as well. So we're going to have to start managing these minutes, and something like what Pioli did today, where he decided to start 3 center backs. Right? He, for some reason, tactically, he chose not to trust in Kalulu right away from the start.
Yeah.
And he put Tomori, Kier, and Romagnoli all on the pitch together, and Kier got hurt. Now, I'm not saying that's why he got hurt, but this is the risk that you take when you have 3 solid center backs plus Gabbia, right? Those are our 4 center backs. And you've purchased Kalulu, you've purchased people to play right back, but you're not trusting them. Now, in the next month, with a lot of fixtures, you're going to have to start trusting these people, right? So,
yep.
What worries me, guys, is 2 things. One, I think by Christmas time, we're gonna be regretting that we don't have a true right wing. Salchicha Maker today was completely lost. And that's too bad because his work rate is really up there. But unfortunately, again, himself as well, the final third is not for him. And the second thing that we're going to regret, and I know we got Pellegrini, I know we have Giroud, but the mythic Ibra is starting to show some battle scars.
Yeah.
So apparently, and this is something that I know I read, and I always say that I'm going to write it down because I want to give credit to the person who posted it, but I don't remember to write him down. It's not my tweet, but it's someone that I read where they said the type of knee injury that Zlatan got, and if we muster in his age, the next thing that starts to hurt is the Achilles.
Yep.
We had Beckham blow out his Achilles and destroy it and almost kill off his career.
That's a great point.
Yep.
And now we're seeing the same thing with Ibra, right? So I know Ibra is that, we've proved that without Ibra, we can make things work. But for how long? That's what scares me. That's what I want to see at Christmas time.
We'll see if it happens. I'll close with this as far as Milan, because we've talked extensively, about this game. I don't hate the idea that they're finding ways to get results right now, undermanned and not having maybe all of the resources that they have. I think that they're a little deeper this year than they were even last year. I mean, I think that you've seen Tonali's growth. Your point about Salsicha Maker. Come on, we got to call him that when we've got Stevie on. Your point about salsicha maker, I don't think Pioli's bothered by his playing style. I think he's fine with, he wants to run things through Brahim Diaz. He wants to be able to then finally I'll find the striker. Tonali, steps up and runs the things. I think Salamaker's, we would love a winger that would be just a big take on artist. We get a bunch of assists. We get a bunch of, chances created and all that stuff. And eventually Salamakers might grow to that in his role playing for Milan. He did it for Belgium over the qualifiers during the international break. Yeah. But Pioli's not bothered by, hey, I got to, give me a work rate guy that from that flank works between the boxes, maybe helps to neutralize the opposing flank players. And then whatever assists or goals he can carve out, so be it. But I've got other guys that can do that for us. So I think that he sees him in that vein where Florenzi is supposed to give them. Clearly, Florenzi's not there to be a right back. He's there to be a winger. To me, it's an incomplete grade for him through the limited amount of opportunities he's had. But after watching him defend for Italy, I want him to be a right winger. I don't want him to be a right back for Milan. So, so your point about salsicha maker is like, I think Pioli's got this setup where it's like, okay, do your work rate stuff. I'm not demanding the creativity out of you. I've got other guys. I mean, a lot of things have run through Brahim so far. A lot of things have run through Tonali so far, and I think that we're fine with that. I mean, and then we got Akbar who's talking about Junior Messias, which eventually we're going to unleash that beast. I'm on board. I think he's gonna ball out I think he's gonna ball out when we play him.
On board and rooting for him, right? The story makes
it's an amazing story.
It's an amazing story that, to be very honest, you guys, I've said it in the past. I'm not shy to say it again. For me, what counts is the red and black. Yep. It could be anybody. Yep. I don't care how we win even. If it's salchicha maker, it's salchicha maker. If it's Leao who scores 3 goals off his shin, I don't care. If we have 7 own goals and we win, I don't care. I really don't.
A goal off the shin counts the same as an upper 90 worldie. Just remember that, Stevie.
Exactly. What's his name? Pippo Inzaghi made a living scoring goals off the shin. That's right. He never hit a volley properly, but still ended up scoring, right? Yeah. Guys, is the Laziale?
That's what Johan Cruyff said.
Is the Laziale coming on tonight?
He's coming. He's coming on. We had to coax him back into it.
Yeah.
I think we promised him like a month. I think we promised him a month's supply of Nutella and ketchup chips to get him on. So he'll be on. But no, I mean, to your point about Pippo Inzaghi, Johan Cruyff said this. We might do that. Johan Cruyff said this about Pippo Inzaghi, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, Pippo Inzaghi can't play football for shit, but man, he can score goals. and he was right. So it's like, I never considered Pippo Inzaghi a footballer. I considered him to be like, I said, get into that area and clean up whatever the goalkeeper misses and just get into the right place at the right time. And Pippo Inzaghi just made a living out of that. And now he makes a living out of getting teams promoted to Serie A, and then they're shit under him, and then he gets sacked. So that's what he does now.
Exactly.
Brescia, beware.
Oh my God.
So,
Steve, thank you for all your support you've done for us. Thank you for all the content you've provided all of us as well. Before you go, please plug away your podcast where everyone can find you and your social media.
Perfect, guys. Milan Weekly Podcast. It's in the name. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We try. Myself, Presidente, Vinny, and Sonny. Guys, we try our best to do everything that we can to put out the best Milan content that we can, being unbiased, guys. And we pride ourselves on that. I do. I'm not afraid to call out Milan when it's time to call out Milan. And I think that's the best type of content, the same way like you guys do. Just say it how it is, and there's no point in trying to make a little Fiat 500 look like a Ferrari, right? When it's not a Ferrari. So,
amen.
We love Milan, and there's a lot of guys behind this, Special shout out to Vinny. Been together 200 plus episodes. We added Sonny, who is the Norwegian living in Australia. Imagine that, doing everything graphics because we can't even draw as stickmen. So that's been helping us out as well. And guys, Presidente, you know him, guys. So if he gets on you and he needs you, he will stone your world to get that answer that he's looking for. And he's making some really taking some really big steps behind the scenes where he likes to be, because we do not put him in the camera because we're going to put everybody to sleep.
Please don't.
Only Milan puts him on the spotlight.
Only Milan TV puts him straight on the screen, and he was nervous, and a special shout out to him. That's a great achievement for him and getting recognized for that. And again, guys, before I go off, the most important thing tonight is you guys. 200 episodes, guys. It's a lot of work for everybody out there who does not know the work that these two guys and everybody else putting out content. It's a lot of work, guys. It's getting down to the basement, listening to your wife complain about something, or why you're going downstairs and why you're spending 3 hours with your friend on video conference.
We all know
tough,
that,
right? And trying to get now with Milan in midweek. Not only
are you
Sunday,
sure you're in Montreal and that you're not in my backyard?
Yeah, exactly right.
Frank, I'm married with 2 kids too. I know the routine, right? So, and it's important, guys. And I wish, maybe not for us, but the future generation of people that do put out content, that Serie A starts recognizing what they have on the other side of the pond, right? Because and we need to help ourselves, right? And we try at Milan Weekly Podcast, to try to expose some other Milan clubs, try to expose podcasts. I'm excited when someone else says, I want to do some Milan content. Go ahead, do it. I'm past it. No one's going to put me on TV, that's for sure. They're going to go through the YouTube reel of Milan Weekly Podcast, and Steve, you're out. I'm not on TV. I'm just too raw for that, right? So, but people can polish themselves, and they can do that. Example, again, a little bit long, but it's very important. In Canada, we're watching it on a streaming service that has no pregame, no halftime, and no ending wrapping up show. This is terrible, guys. It's not. This cannot continue. And there's guys out there, and I'm not saying me, you, or me, Frank, Richard. Richard's pretty good looking. We can pass. We can go on TV. Frank, me and you, we're fucked. We're too ugly.
Well, that's why when you guys had me on that one time, you put me on the phone and you put Richard on. Richard on video. I demanded being on video the next time you guys. By the way, we haven't been on with you guys in a while. Just putting that out there.
We're gonna make that happen for sure.
Awesome.
Again, sooner rather than later. Shirts on or shirts off, whatever you guys do.
Shirts on. I don't need to scare any of your listeners or viewers.
That's it, guys. So congratulations, 200 guys. Abbraccio. Please, when all this shit is over, come to Montreal. Don't do like Richard. He comes to Montreal, doesn't let us know that he's in Montreal.
Bullshit.
You didn't tell me you were in Montreal.
Bullshit.
You went and saw the Calcio guys. You didn't go see Vinny and Steve.
He meets the Calcio guys, who are much more important than we are. And,
I didn't know this.
Blame Presidente.
Blame Presidente. All jokes aside.
Oh, we always blame. Yeah, that's the easy out, isn't it?
I would love to come to where you live there. I want to go see the Brewers, the Bucks, and stuff like that. I would love to take a trip like that. Richard, you know what?
Oh, by all means.
Where you live.
That's how I like it. No, I'm just kidding. DC, man. DC.
I would come.
By all means, we can take a couple. Stevie, by all means, man, come out here. We can catch some of those games. We can take some brewery tour. We can take some brewery tours. So you'd love it.
Nice. Thank you. Ovunque sempre. Forza Milan, guys. Congratulations.
Forza Milan.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao. Thank you, Stevie. Great having you on. Ciao. Wow. I mean, the guests are bringing it. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't know. I'm partial. I got a heart for the red and black. Stevie's background was rocking it. So
it was rocking. Who won Calcio background? Yeah.
We're
leaving our next guest hanging. He just won a Scudetto. He can wait. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah,
we're still trying to work on that.
He was driving home. He was driving home with his wife anyway.
Exactly.
They probably had more important. She had things that were more important to her that she needed to talk to him about. So I want to make sure that he got that in before he jumped on with us, right?
We all got a earful before we got him on the podcast too, Frank. But you and I, so I'm sure.
How do you go to Montreal and not see Vinny and Steve?
I tried.
I got to decide whether or not I'm going to send you more Spotted Cow now.
I'm drinking one, by the way. They can.
I see that. I've actually switched it up. I am drinking. It's called Rift. It is it's an IPA. Central Waters Brewing Company.
A Rift.
Yep. Perfect time to bring this in. Rift. Yeah. It's Central Waters Brewing Company in Amherst, Wisconsin. So great IPA. Not too heavy, not too like boozy. Pretty good drinking IPA. So I don't think it's going to make it out your way. I think it stays in state like the Spotted Cow does. But if I get some more Spotted Cow out to you, I'll throw in a 6-pack of Rift and let you can tell me what you think.
Okay. So, well, I noticed there's a lot of Inter fans in the chat right now. I don't know if this guy primed his listener.
Oh, you Inter chat. Oh my God, Inter chat. You guys just decided to time it. Like, you don't care about anything else we talk about. It's like, hurry up and get this guy on, right?
Well, he's going to come on now. This guy, I guess, was voted on Twitter apparently today as the sexiest voice in radio and podcast. I got to listen to Frank. Now I got to listen to this guy. I'm going to have to step away because I can't compete with both of your voices. Please welcome to the show, Alex Donno. Alex, welcome, man.
Thank you so much. Although I'm already failing because I didn't know that there was going to be a Who Won Calcio backgrounds contest. I lose. I'm in my son's bedroom in front of his generic baby blue wall. I don't have any Inter gear on, so I'm completely failing. And also, you guys set me up to fail because Steve is a tough act to follow, man. That is a tough act to follow. I'm an Interista, and I actually listen to their show. Like the fact, somebody like me, I hate Milan, and I actually listen to the Milan Weekly podcast, which I think is the ultimate compliment to them. And of course, and thank you, Anthony. And you guys, by the way, I am, of course, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you guys know I'm a religious listener of your show. Even before I got to know you guys personally, I was a listener of yours, and then I became a viewer of yours when you started doing videos. So Frank and Richard, congratulations, guys, on 200 episodes. I know how difficult it is because I do like 30 different shows to get to that point, to be consistent on that content, to put it out there, and to build a following the way that you guys have. It's not easy, man. So I appreciate you guys. And yeah, the face for radio. That's why I have my lighting is like in a way that I'm mostly in the shadows here because I have that face for radio.
Isn't your son trying to sleep? You're doing this from his room?
I was going to ask the same thing.
No, he's actually we took a trip without him. So he's actually at his grandparents' house sleeping. So don't even worry about him.
Well, it's your birthday.
I mean, as backgrounds go, one of my mentors in that I played for and coached with had a great saying: "Simplicity is genius." Okay, so you're not out of the running just because you have a wall.
I was waiting for him to say but.
No, and I was actually, before you guys popped me in, I was experimenting with the green screen function on StreamYard, but I couldn't get something behind me without making my face look like I was like a digital human being. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to be embarrassed I'm going to be Who Lost Calcio backgrounds, but it's fine. We're going to have to roll through it.
You're in the running, so that's a good start.
I'm in the running. I'm one nominee out of everyone else joining. I will lose, but I appreciate the competition.
Hey, you reached the finals. Let's just leave it at that. So Inter, okay. I'm being skeptical, and maybe this is me seeing the world in red and black colored glasses. I mean, Bologna, there's a part of me that says, okay, that was very, very impressive. But there's another part of me that analyzes Bologna and looks at them and said that they're going to be a shit show defensively all season. Big deal. Genoa, and then Hellas Verona, that was Hellas Verona managed by EDF, mind you. I'm struggling with what to make of Inter. There's a part of me that says, they might be this good, but at the same time, I go and look at them at Sampdoria and say that's why I can't crown them yet. You know, I I think it's, but is this one of those, hey, just take care of business against the teams you're supposed to take care of business against? Should I just be looking at it that way? Where are you at as an Inter supporter right now with their start to the season? I mean, I look at the Real Madrid match. I don't know how the hell you didn't get out of there with at least a point. So tell me, I mean, on behalf of Inter supporters, where are you at with things? What's going on, and what are your expectations?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth when you mentioned, you can only beat the opponent that's in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't think outside of the Real Madrid game, and I'll get into that, in the league, they haven't been properly challenged yet. And I know they did drop points against Samp. That was a weird one. And I'm not saying this because I'm wearing my black and blue colored glasses. I'm just being real here. I'll give you some positive and some negative. Like the Samp game was a weird one because I just thought Inter looked really sluggish coming back from the international break, all the players who traveled, especially to South America. I just think that it's, those things happen. You get trap games like that. They actually lost that fixture at Samp a season ago. So I'm not happy about dropping points in that one. But I knew going in that was going to be a tough fixture. It was one of those lunchtime games where Inter hardly ever show up on the road with so many guys jet lagged. So I didn't have high expectations for that one. Outside of that, there's been a lot of good and there's been some bad. I'll give you the bad. And I can't say that this is definitely bad, but it's certainly something I'm tracking. Like you look at the Real Madrid match, which is obviously the toughest game they've played so far in either competition. I wonder how legitimate their problem scoring and finishing chances really is. Because obviously, who did you sell this past transfer window? You sold Romelu Lukaku, and you replaced him essentially with two players, Edin Dzeko, who is going to have some inconsistencies because he's so old, right? At 30, you can't expect Dzeko to be at his best night in and night out. And Joaquin Correa, who's a very nice player, but he certainly doesn't fit that goal-scoring profile of Lukaku. He's more of a creator. So you're losing some goals, guys. And against Real Madrid, I'm going to steal the word that Nima used that I thought was perfect to describe it. Their attack looked toothless in that game. So you need to find more consistent goal-scoring out of your forwards. I do think that this Inter team certainly has some goals that can be scored from the midfield, but they've also had some problems in midfield with injuries. I mean, Vidal has a knock. Stefano Sensi is always carrying injuries. He's hurt more than he's healthy. And your guy Hakan Çalhanoğlu is not good for consistency. He may be.
He's not my guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
He may be good for a nice performance once a month or so, or once every 2 months or so, but you can't count on a whole lot of consistency there. So I think keeping these midfielders healthy is very important. I mean, yesterday they started Matias Vecino, who did score, but I don't want to see him starting on a regular basis. He's more of a liability. So I actually wasn't as discouraged by the Samp result as some people might be. I guess the part of that was a little bit discouraging was, it's hard to imagine like an Antonio Conte coach team giving up 2 leads in a game the way that they did. But then they also, again, they did lose that fixture at Samp 2-1 last year. So honestly, guys, with the opponents that they have beaten, I mean, they looked monstrous yesterday against Bologna. They looked monstrous against Genoa. They had a good second half against Verona after having a poor first half against Verona. We've seen a lot of good, but who have they really played? The week coming up, guys, is going to tell us a lot about who Inter really are, because they have Fiorentina and they have Atalanta. And I know Atalanta are off to a bad start. They've not been in good form. But that team always starts slow. And we know how dangerous Atalanta can be. And it would be fitting if they finally put it together when they're going up against Inter, because Gasperini loves putting it together when he goes up against Inter. So I think that these next 2 fixtures are going to tell us everything about who Inter are. And then you have another Champions League matchup next week against Shakhtar. So, honestly, I'm feeling good. But we really have to see if this team still has the Scudetto mentality coming out of last season. I'll say another thing that I thought was very encouraging against Bologna was the play of the wingbacks. I mean, to be able to be too deep at that position. In fact, I think the 2 guys who started yesterday on the right and the left should be your best options by mid-season, if not already your best options. Denzel Dumfries put in one hell of a performance. I think in his case, what I want to see more from him throughout the year is improving a little bit defensively, because in the little we've seen from him in previous matches, that could be a little bit of a liability. But when it comes to attacking, getting into dangerous areas, putting in pinpoint crosses, he looked fantastic. Federico Di Marco is a player that I really like, and I've wanted to see him. He's been an Inter-owned player for a few years, been loaned out, sold with buyback clauses, all that. He's finally getting his chance to play. He's got a really dangerous shot and a really dangerous free kick, and I think he's underrated. So you have some things to be happy about right now. But again, the big question are Lautaro, can he be consistent? Dzeko, I mean, I don't expect consistency out of him, but how dangerous can he be when he's at his best? I was happy he scored 2 goals late in the match yesterday because he didn't start off so great yesterday. So really, to me, consistent goal scoring, I think that's going to be the difference in Inter being a Scudetto contender or a contender for top 4.
I think it's, we mentioned the Sampdoria matchup. I think many people are not rating them as high as they should be. I think this is a team that's going to be a legit pain in the ass for everyone this year. I think they're going to be a solid mid-table team this year. And I think that, maybe was their first real test that they had. And we saw they maybe struggled to, with some of the things you brought up with the qualifiers and stuff and that. They did play Real Madrid very well. They looked, they actually had good spells of possession, but a lot of the game couldn't score a goal. Ended up losing to Real Madrid. Nothing's wrong with that. That's a good team to lose to. But yeah, this team Inter remind me of Lazio of a couple years ago. Oh, by the way, managed by Inzaghi, and this team that finished second place in the league. They were beating up on all the small teams, and then those tighter games, obviously against the bigger opponents. Hopefully, better results against the bigger opponents than they did with Lazio, because Lazio couldn't beat a top 6 team in that season. But so far, it's everything written about Inzaghi all over this, blowing out teams that they should, like Frank mentioned, they should be winning these teams.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how this run comes up here and how they do against mightier opponents, because that's when like you mentioned, we'll know the real Inter at this point, because once these teams start playing against each other, we'll really be able to size where they're at. The top 6, top 7, they're going to be tight all season long, and to really gauge where they're at the moment. Like you mentioned, Atalanta's on the horizon. They know how to rise to the occasion. Right now they're still in Champions League mode, and they're not really putting their eggs in the Serie A basket, but if they want to, they can. So obviously you're excited with the start right now with you guys. We put a poll up earlier today that maybe who are the best wingers in Serie A, what duo. Obviously you got to like what Dumfries and DiMarco are doing at the moment. I mean, this is probably a better setup at the moment with DiMarco and Dumfries in terms of potential and quality and scoring ability, as opposed to last year where you had Hakimi and whoever else was on the left-hand side.
Perisic or Ashley Young.
Yeah. So tell us your thoughts on this wingers that you guys have and what they can bring to your team that maybe you were lacking last year.
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, just being more dynamic in attack. I think that's really something to look for, and how quickly can they adapt defensively? It's one thing, like when it comes to some of the bigger fixtures that come up over the next couple of months. I mean, obviously you have some reasonably big fixtures this next week, but I think we'll really get a better idea when Inter start facing the Milans and the Juventuses of the world. And I know Juventus right now are a relegation team, but at some point they're gonna win some games, I would think. So when you start playing those bigger games, I'm really curious to see if at that point Inzaghi really trusts DiMarco and Dumfries, to carry them through some of those bigger games, even though you might trust the likes of Darmian and Perisic a little bit more, but certainly in attack, I think Dumfries and DiMarco, Dumfries especially, because I tracked him closely during the Euros, and I started to talk to some people who covered him at PSV, because I don't claim to have watched a lot of PSV Eindhoven games. I didn't. I had to ask some folks about Dumfries, and I got really excited about him over the summer. So I think that the wingback pairing could be important, and it is nice to have the depth, because to know that, okay, I think the best pair is the one we saw yesterday in DiMarco on the left and Dumfries on the right, but you also have a pretty dependable pair in Perisic on the left and Darmian on the right. And obviously Darmian, he's, a Swiss Army knife, right? I mean, I'm not saying he's a great player, but he can be effective as a wingback, can be effective as one of your 3 center backs. And another, big question that I was just thinking about with Inter, can they, a couple things on the back line and even in net, right? Because Handanovic could be problematic. He actually, in the last 2 games, he's actually looked much better. But there are certain times when he just stands there. He does the mannequin challenge, showing some signs of his age. And then even the back three, because I think we've seen in a couple of the goals that they've conceded, and I don't really put the Real Madrid goal on them. I put that on the midfield because Matias Vecino and Arturo Vidal both lost a man in the build-up to that goal. I don't put that on the center backs. But in a couple of the goals they've given up, the back three, they've really shown just some mental lapses. And I know that last season, the same back three had virtually a perfect season because they had Conte screaming at them on and off the pitch. I think Inzaghi is a little bit more of a player's coach. So hopefully these guys can realize we need to bring in that Conte mentality, because as good as that back three trio is with De Vrij, Skriniar, and Bastoni, in Serie, it's too deep. If you leave your concentration down, no matter what side you're playing for, a minute, then you can allow a goal. So I think they need to improve that a little bit.
Yep. You mentioned Conte, and I think that's the question that I have. I mean, is there a concern here? And here's what I wrote up about Inter when I made my predictions at the final, and why I don't have them winning the Scudetto. And I have this fantasy that Milan are going to win it this year.
But you guys should have done better against the relegation team. I mean, just 1 point against the 18th.
It's an away. It was an away. It was an away point. It's an away point. You take away points when you can. Okay. How many times we got to talk about this, Alex? No. The thing that has me having entered falling is that was a special culture under Antonio Conte and with a player like Romelu Lukaku. Are you concerned as an Inter supporter that lack of culture is going to turn up at some point when when the screws start to tighten? I mean, right now you've had the luxury of playing what's in front of you. That defensively is going to be pretty generous to you. Okay. But when the screws start to tighten, you don't have that culture to fall back on. You don't have that drive from Conte to fall back on. Inzaghi's more of a, kind of a man manager, if you will, more of a, maybe a little more casual than clearly more casual than Antonio Conte. I mean, he's going to have his way of doing things. Does not having that diligence, and not having that, maybe that 4-star general there on the touchline, versus having a player's coach, start to concern you in situations like that with this particular Inter setup?
Yeah, it's concerning. And that's not even a slight to Inzaghi. It's just there's something magic about Conte when it comes to preparing his team for war every time they step on the field. So a couple things you worry about after losing Conte, and it doesn't even matter who the replacement is. I like Simone Inzaghi, but Conte sides are notorious for rarely dropping points against teams they shouldn't drop points to. Sure. Even if here and there you might lose a big game. I mean, Inter lost one of the Milan derbies last year. They lost, although the second meeting with Juventus wasn't that meaningful for Inter because they'd clinched the Scudetto, very meaningful for Juve. You're going to lose some big games every now and then, but something that Conte excels at, and it's something Max Allegri used to excel at. So I guess it does go to show you that the squad matters as well. But something Conte excels at is you don't drop points to inferior sides, whether you're at home or on the road. You still find a way to grind out these results. So that's one of those things that's concerning. The other thing is, this doesn't happen too often under Conte sides. It didn't happen with Conte's Inter in 2 seasons. You don't go through those blackout periods where you have like a month where you just can't win. And that used to happen frequently to Inter as recently as the Luciano Spalletti era. And granted, he didn't have as good of a squad as Conte had, so I give him that. But, both seasons under Spalletti, you had a period of time, usually right around and a little bit after Christmas, where for 4, 5, 6 weeks in the league, you just couldn't buy a victory. And the mentality would go to shit. Eventually they snapped out of it and qualified for Champions League both of those years. But you didn't have those blackouts under Conte because he's just so good. I mean, physically and mentally motivating his side and preparing them for battle. And part of that ties into the first thing, and that is you're just not going to drop many points against inferior teams. You're going to drop a few points in big games, but not in the small games.
That's a really good point. And since we're trying to have some fun on this show, not to be so serious all the time, I see Milan Club Montreal has an interesting point in here. Have we mentioned Hakan yet? No, we have not mentioned Hakan yet. How are you liking our old boy Hakan Çalhanoğlu? Has he rubbed off on you yet? What's your assessment 4 games into the season so far?
Typical stuff. And I watched him. I did watch him pretty closely at Milan as well. And, some of the things you expect, just no consistency whatsoever. I mean, his debut. And I know that there's something special about debuts. Jerry Mancini and I have talked about this before, and he brought this up on our most recent episode that, I don't know, emotionally, it's so important to have a great deal. Like his debut in the Genoa match, he world class, looked absolutely world class. And then, as I expected, we've had very uneven performances since that. So it's certainly nothing that's caught me off guard. And it's one of those reasons why, I need more cover in Inter's midfield, because hopefully this squad is deep enough they can absorb some inconsistency. And it's why I need my guy Stefano Sensi to find a way not to pull a hamstring every time he gets out of bed. I'd love to. I don't know if there's anything new over the last few weeks on Christian Eriksen, but wouldn't it be amazing if he can actually find a way to play Italian football again? If he can go without that device they implanted in his chest. So I don't know what the future holds there, and if Arturo Vidal can stay healthy, because he actually looked really good the first couple of games of the year coming off the bench. Not that I expect consistency from him, but I'm thinking if you have like 2 or 3 inconsistent midfielders, you rotate them, maybe you can get a good performance each time that they play. But man, I've noticed, honestly, I think you Milanisti, and I'm not just talking to the two faces above me, I'm talking to everyone in the chat, you got to let go and move on, because I follow a lot of Milanisti on Twitter, and I see more Milanisti tweeting about Hakan than Interisti. You guys have an excellent midfield. You're off to an excellent start.
We don't want to talk about all the injuries, so we got to talk about something else.
Yeah, but it's.
Well, I'll tell you what I like. I'll tell you what I like about. I mean, I am a Brahim Diaz fan right now. I mean, and I'll tell you the difference between him and Hakan.
Sure.
Hakan wants to sit back.
Lisi, by the way, no one's more obsessed than Lisi. Lisi tweets more about Hakan than Jerry tweets about Immobile. It's an obsession.
No. You know that's wrong.
Jerry, I am Jerry.
I can't have a day on my Twitter live feed without Jerry tweeting about Ciro Immobile. I can't. Okay, so that's why I did all the Ciro Immobile jokes when he was playing for Italy. Okay, so there's a dead cat because a child and a crying child, because Ciro Immobile was supposed to climb up and save the cat. He offered to help, but he climbed up the wrong side of the tree, and the cat couldn't hang on anymore. Now it's dead. All right, so that's what we get. Okay, fine. Chiro scored today against Cagliari. Great. All right. Yay. Good for you. He was my Capo Canonieri pick 2 years ago, too, by the way.
That's right.
But anyway, no, Hakan doesn't live rent-free in my head anymore. He's got to pay rent. Here's what I like. Hakan will sit in the deep positions and want to pick a pass. Brahim will sit in the deep positions and he says, hey, I can go at that guy and take him on.
Yeah.
He takes him on. Okay? He mixes it up where Hakan gets predictable. So when you defend against Hakan Çalhanoğlu, you know what you can do. You can sit people back. You can clog the passing lanes because he's not going to run at anybody. But when it's Brahim in that 10 role for Milan, now it changes.
By the way, I would also rather have
Brahim.
I'll go on record to say that I would rather have Brahim than Hakan.
Amen. I love. I'm turning into. I'm going to put a Brahim Diaz jersey up here. I think.
Well, and the other thing, and honestly, let me interject here for a second, because people need to remember, everyone bantering Inter over Hakan, he would never have even been invited to sign with Inter if not for what happened to Christian Eriksen. Like that was like an emergency. Yeah. Oh my God, what do we do? We're down.
That was a safety net decision.
Yeah, it was a safety net.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, Alex. Before we let you go, go ahead.
Can you guys score a goal on Shakhtar this year? Finally,
I was going to ask a question.
That's an important.
Well, I mean, hell, you scored 5 on them in the Europa League. It's not
They used up all their goals in Europa League. No, but it's funny you bring that up, because after Jerry and I did a post-match episode right after the Inter Real Madrid game midweek, and we had a couple of Interisti on and a couple of friends of mine who support Real Madrid. We had them on. And the guys who support Real Madrid were like, well, oh my God, you guys looked really good. Like, Inter looked incredible. You're definitely going through. And then me and Anthony and Mario from Inter Worldwide were the Interisti. We're like, man, I don't know, bro. We've got too many scars, right? You know, we've got Shakhtar in the group. We couldn't. All we had to do was score 1 goal against Shakhtar in that second leg just to go through, and we couldn't do it. So there's definitely there are nerves. Like for Interisti in Champions League, I mean, 3 straight seasons, guys, without getting through the group stage. And the first season, it was heartbreaking because they controlled their own destiny heading into the final game of the group. But it wasn't as heartbreaking because it was like, okay, first year back in Champions League after I think a 6 or 7 year drought. So just happy to be here. Then the second year, it's like, all right, we should be thinking about advancing now. Third year, you know, you're with Conte. I think it was 2 years with Conte, 1 year with Spalletti in Champions League. Third year, like, okay, definitely we're getting through this year. And then you couldn't score against Shakhtar. So there definitely are some nerves there. And I think for every Interista, when it comes to getting through the Champions League group stage, you keep your fingers crossed, you say a few prayers, and you just have to hope this is the year.
Lisi says Hakan was the last chick at the bar, the one your friends try to save you from, but you take home anyways.
Pretty much, man.
When you've been out there and you've given up, and it's 1:30 in the morning.
No one's around.
He's the slump buster.
I've never heard it called that before.
Alex, on that note,
and then you got Roma. Okay, we've got the Derby della Capitale going on here in full force. Roma 17. Our good friend Jerry keeps dead cats in his freezer.
Oh my god,
we're gonna have Jerry
on
Jerry
soon. Time story here tonight. No, who knows?
Slump buster for the win. That's the best thing I've heard all night.
I think in college I only took home slump busters. It was always like 1:30 in the morning. Oh my god, how many times can I strike out? Okay, I see that girl at the end of the bar at 11 p.m. She was a 4. Now she's a 9. Here we go.
If Hakan doesn't turn you down, no one will.
Keep your standards low. Keep your standards low, Alex. That's why you had me on your radio show.
We're going to call this Hakan from now on. So, Alex,
hey guys, and again, but before you let me go, congratulations again on 200 episodes. And I'm glad I could be a part of this one.
Thank you.
Yep. And schedules loosen up for us. We're coming back on Calcio Connection. We'll invite ourselves.
Love it. Please, anytime. Invite yourselves. You're on.
Does Inzaghi get over the hump this year? Finally get his title?
I thought you were going to say, like, get over the hump. Like, does he get to eat the panettone? Yes.
We're not talking about slump busters anymore.
Honestly, I don't.
This is Inzaghi's slump buster.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's too early. It's too early to say. I think I definitely think Inter are going to be in the mix. And then I also, it's tough because I'd like to also think that Milan are going to be in the mix. And I also think Napoli can very well be in the mix, and even some of the teams that are off to poor starts. I'm not completely writing off Juventus yet. I'm not writing off Atalanta, even though they're off to a slow start. But they always get off to slow starts. I feel like, guys, every September, we're always having these conversations these last few years, like, oh, Atalanta, is the magic over? Is the Cinderella run over? And then October on, they start picking up points. So I think that there are a handful of teams that can compete for a Scudetto, and I think Inter will be one of them. So that's my way of being on the fence and not giving you a real answer.
There you go.
There you go. Right on.
Non-committal as always. So,
Alex, this is your time to plug away anything you want, and let people know where they can find you on social media.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and first and foremost, I'd love it if for those of you watching this, if you haven't checked out the show that Jerry Mancini and I do, the Calcio Connection, I would love it if you would check it out. We stream on YouTube as well. We have an audio podcast, and I know we have some viewers in common already, but anybody, if you've checked out Richard and Frank, keep checking them out. I'm not saying you should replace them, but add to your Calcio repertoire with our show as well, because we have a good time on the Calcio Connection. And we also have a Patreon page. It's mostly Inter-related content. So if you're not an Inter fan, you'll probably hate the Patreon page. If maybe you like to scout the enemy and you'd like to throw us some donations and listen to the exclusive Inter content there. But yeah, free content is all Calcio. The Patreon content is mostly Inter-related stuff. And you guys can also check out some of the work that I do talking American sports on 5reasonsports.com and on their YouTube page, because I have a daily stream from noon to 1 p.m. where I mostly just rant and rave about the Dolphins, who look like they suck right now, the Miami Hurricanes, who look like they totally suck, but the Miami Heat don't suck, and they're starting again soon. So I have that going for me.
You got a small matter of playing in the same conference as the world champions of NBA basketball.
That is a problem.
My hometown, baby, Milwaukee Bucks.
You guys swept our asses last year.
We sure did, didn't we? We sure did, didn't we?
Oh my gosh.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, Alex, it was a pleasure, man. We'll have you on again soon for sure.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Ciao.
All right, Alex Donno. There it is.
They're coming thick and fast, man. Who's next? I think I know who's next. You bring him back to Daddy. Come on now, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, Alex was just talking about ranting and raving. Someone who likes to do the rant and rap show. Someone who he's witnessed to me when you saying you called someone Daddy. Of course, I'm talking about Raffa Rispo.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, I'm just writing off Juventus right now. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. As long as your season's been so far, yeah.
Carry the one, move them down 4 spots, maybe 6. Yeah, I haven't. Okay, good. All right. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on?
Rafa's in the house.
Hey, listen. Before I say anything, obviously, I got to congratulate you to 200 episodes. Wonderful, right?
Thank you.
But, excuse me, this is who won Calcio background. Thank you very much.
That's pretty nice.
Here.
I'm impressed.
That's pretty nice.
Right here.
Y'all. Okay, look. That shit wasn't up there an hour ago.
Up here.
You found out you were going. You found out you were going later, and you heard who won Calcio background. I was like, shit. Let me get that up there.
Nah. You don't watch the Raffa rant. This was up here for months, my friend.
Okay.
This is background Calcio right here. Anyway, guys, no, I really enjoy your show. You know that. I watch any chance I can. I try to watch live, but I always catch the replays. And as a regular guest on here, I'm just honored to be on for 200 episodes, man. This is really, really cool. And it doesn't matter how long I have to wait backstage. I don't care. I'll wait as long as I have to.
You've been one of the OGs, Rafa. You've been down from the beginning, so we definitely appreciate the support. Back when you guys had the Sempre podcast, and you know what? I don't know if you hear. I don't know, and I want to take the time to do this. I don't know if you stay in touch with James anymore, but please give him our best.
I haven't heard from him in a while, but I was in touch with him recently. But
all right.
But yeah, I will definitely let him know that you say hello.
Yep.
And we're Far From Vesuvius is kind of going through a resurgence / like rebranding.
Yeah.
I've been holding it down with Raf and Raf, so it's busy. And when Polilo says stuff like, it takes a lot to do this, and it really does. It takes a lot. You guys, I appreciate all the work that you guys put in on this, and appreciate everybody else's work too. I'm sad that I missed Lisi because he's a pretty cool guy. I really like him. Also, Zio Rocco, friend of mine too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just everybody that's been on here has been favorites of mine. Alex Donno is a god, obviously. We love Alex Donno. And, the main event of the evening, Jerry Mancini, finally decided to come on, huh? You had to strong arm him to get him on, didn't you?
We had to caress him back into it. I mean,
he needed to be the main event. I know you guys had me lined up as the main event. That's okay.
But by the way, I didn't put this lineup together. Richard did. Okay.
Richard knows what's up. Richard knows what's up.
Hey, you got to end it on a bang. All right.
Yeah, a bang. Yeah.
All right. Well, Rafa, Napoli is an extremely intriguing proposition this season. Enter Luciano Spalletti, which to me, when you took a look at the squad, was a natural fit. For the next manager, for how he wants to play, what he wants to do. Everybody, including myself, flocked and is eating the chalk on Victor Osimhen being Capocannoniere, and there's still plenty of time for that for him. I think Thursday's Europa League performance shows exactly why people thought that highly of him. But it's Spalletti with strikers or nines or center forwards or whatever you want to call them. They're just brilliant under him, and they score a ton of goals. Overall, your impressions of Spalletti so far, first 3 games, you're going to play Udinese tomorrow. The Europa League performance, the comeback performance against Leicester, which I watched a good bit of. I was very, very impressed with how they fought through that. Overall thoughts on Spalletti and what you're looking forward to with him?
Well, it's funny, guys, because at the beginning of Spalletti's reign, I wasn't high on the move. I was very emotional about Gattuso being sacked or let go or mutually splitting, what have you, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Gattuso is a big fixture in this household. He was a fan favorite here. My kids and my fiance called him Gasmucho. They wanted to grab his cheeks and smooch him in the face every time he gets every time he got mad on TV or got happy about a win, just stuff like that. But I think studying the move, as content creators like us, we study things, man. Like, I've never studied Calcio more than I have now. Like, I was always a big Calcio guy, stats, this and that. But I had to do some digging on Spalletti, and I knew who he was, and I knew what he was capable of, and I knew his limits too. But after really looking under the microscope with Spalletti and what he's done, I thought to myself right away, it didn't take long, a couple days, for me to realize, you know what, this might work out. He plays a very similar system to what Gattuso has the team used to, but he brings that experience, and you can see that shining through in the first 3-4 matches. Every single match that Napoli has been in so far, in my opinion, they've been backs against the wall, and last season, that match results in dropped points or loss. You saw it against Spezia. You saw it against teams like Cagliari. You saw it against Sassuolo. You saw it against teams like, 1 point from 6 against Sassuolo. You need to get those points. You get another point against Sassuolo, and you're in the Champions League, So it's things like that where Spalletti brings just maybe a cooler head than Gattuso, but the same determination and more experience. And you can tell that this team is really taking to that because, again, against Venezia in the home opener, 20 minutes in, Victor Osimhen sent off. And 10 minutes later, Zielinski goes off on injury. Halftime, we escaped in a 0-0 draw, right? Second half begins, Insigne misses a penalty kick, and 60 minutes in, you're like, I can't believe it's happening again. And then, boom, another penalty, Insigne converts, and then Elmas gets the score, 2-0. Same thing against Genoa. We go up, right? We concede. Meret gets hurt, this and that, backs against the wall. 84th minute Petagna winner from Mario Rui. Then the Juve game, down from a mistake by Manolas, come back and win the match in the 85th minute with Kalidou Koulibaly again. And then again in Leicester City, down 2-0, with a goal disallowed by VAR. Things not looking good, dominating the match, so to speak. But still backs against the wall, and Osimhen, boom, comes through. And to me, all of these matches last season result in drop points. Maybe we get the win against Juventus because when it comes to big teams, we get up no matter who the manager is. But I feel like Spalletti is the guy that's, because listen, we really, besides one player, we haven't brought in anybody spectacular in the offseason on the market, and we didn't get rid of anybody either. So this is the same club, same squad. We still don't have Mertens back. We had injuries to deal with, and like I said last year, we're dropping these points, we're losing these matches, and we're unbeaten so far.
Yep. Sometimes the best move is no move, right? And I think in your case, the best move is probably getting that manager that you do. And what we've seen so far is typical Spalletti, where he did this with interns in particular, where the team looked sluggish in the first part of the game, found a way to get the game winner late on. Obviously, you guys didn't have any games going on this weekend yet because you're playing tomorrow against Udinese, a very tough opponent, by the way.
Very tough.
But you had a big game this Champions League week, and it was a team that was one of the big teams of England, Leicester City. Leicester City is obviously a heavily favored team this year in the Premier League, and they got off to that 2-0 lead, like you mentioned. What do you say about what does it say about Spalletti and what he brings to your team that your team was able to overcome that and play so well and get that draw in that game? It was a big result that many people woke up their eyes outside of the Calcio community because they're like, wait, Napoli is actually pretty good. I thought it was just Inter and Milan or whoever. What's that extra stuff you're just talking about with Spalletti that getting you over that hump, especially in a big game like that against Leicester City?
Right, and I feel like, so to speak, he's also getting over his own hump. He hasn't been able to, the best he's done is a Coppa Italia with Roma and Champions League positions all the time.
Yeah.
He wants that title. He wants a title in Italy. He wants a title in Europe. And honestly, the way he came into this squad saying, this is the team I like, don't change anything. Everybody was clamoring for a left back. Everybody was, we need a defensive midfielder. We need this. We need that. We got to get a big player. ADL doesn't spend money, which is bullshit anyway. And Spalletti came in and said, no, this is the team I want. Do anything you can to keep Fabian, who is set to leave for 50. Kalidou Koulibaly, who, teams still want. They kept him. And specifically in the Leicester City game, being away in England, where Napoli has not won a match yet in Europe, in European competition. Napoli, and I'm not sure if that's all time, but it's definitely in the ADL era. Napoli has never gone to England and won. A couple draws here and there, but this felt like a win because, again, backs against the wall, playing as hard as we were, creating so many chances, and Leicester had the 2 chances and converted them, 3 if you count the goal disallowed. But to get that result away was huge, especially in a Europa League season where first place gets you to a round of 16 instead of playing in a round of 32. You actually, in the Europa League this season, get a bye to the round of 16, while the second place teams in the Europa League play against the third place teams from the Champions League in that round in February. So that's another very big thing. We need to win that group in order to avoid playing in February. And also, we'll lose Anguissa, Unas, Koulibaly, Osimhen to the African Cup of Nations. So that's a very big thing. So going into that match right away, first match in the group stage, under those conditions with 30 minutes left, 25 minutes left, saying, guys, we need a result here. And getting it just speaks volumes to what Spalletti can bring to a club and what Spalletti brought to Napoli in particular. I think this is one of the best teams that Spalletti has been able to walk into and manage. And they just played so well. I mean, if you look at the result 2-0, and not watching the match, you're thinking, oh, Napoli's getting their ass kicked. But really, we kicked their ass.
Yeah, you did.
For 90% of the match.
You did.
Yeah.
I did my final table predictions, and I went with the homer pick of picking Milan to win the title, but I picked Napoli second because I'm that much of a believer. I'm that much of a believer in Spalletti with this team, but I believe in it not just because of what they've got going forward, because you've got your guys, you've got Insigne, you've got Osimhen, you've got Lozano, you've got Politano when he's called upon. There'll be roles for Mertens in fits and spurts, but I love this midfield. I love that you kept Ruiz. I love Anguissa. Zielinski is a playmaker that can just come out of this I think that's a great situation for him. And then we don't even scratch the surface. You still have Lobotka there. I think that when you think of Napoli, everybody thinks about. I think we're still addicted to what happened with Sarri and the attacking and all the goals and all this other stuff. But I look at this midfield and I find it to be the most underrated in Serie A. Comment on the combination of players, because we had Rocco and we talked about how Juventus they got midfielders, but they don't have a playmaker that can link defense to forward. Napoli at least have at least a couple guys like that. Zielinski and Ruiz, for example. Comment on Napoli's midfield and why they're going to be so vital to their success this season.
So Napoli's midfield, to me, is very underrated, very underappreciated. And there was a need for a move in the transfer market right before the season started. Well, actually, right before the market ended. because we had Diego Demme that went down on injury in preseason. He's still out. We had Lobotka, who nobody believed in, but all of a sudden lost about 10, 15 pounds and started playing his ass off and is back to the potential that he had when he came in under Spalletti. Lost him to injury, right? Then on the international break, which, funny story, I actually watched that match, Slovenia against Cyprus, where I watch it for Lobotka and Hamsik, of course. And there's a player down on his rolling around. I'm cutting hair, and my client's like, "Oh, there's a player down." I turn around, and instantly I'm like, "It's Lobotka." Watch, turn around, there he is, lying on the floor, out for a month. So he was out, and honestly, a lot of people are very skeptical on Fabian and his role in the midfield, where he had to adapt to a role a little bit more back. He's very used to playing forward, sort of where Zielinski is, but in finding that person to replace, I guess Bakayoko went back to Milan.
Yep.
But a better Bakayoko. Now, I'm not discrediting Bakayoko. I was one of the fans that really liked Bakayoko and appreciated his contribution for what it was. Everybody wanted Bakayoko to be the superstar midfielder. He's a bench player who comes in, takes care of business. We were so injured last season that he had to play so much, and he just didn't perform. He wasn't brought in to perform the way people wanted him to. So he's gone. So we had to bring somebody in. And for me, Anguissa is that dude. I mean,
yeah,
I'll tell you. You might know him as Frank's sidekick, but he changed his alias back to his real name, Dr. Henry Bell. So Frank's sidekick is now Henry Bell. Henry Bell on the Far From Vesuvius podcast, the doctor we call him. He hit it right on the he hit the nail right on the head when he said that Spalletti needs that De Rossi type player that's going to win you balls, control the ball, but Anguissa also brings that playmaking attribute, like the skills at his feet he has, the ability to pass quickly and to make good passes. And you're going to see some sideways passes, but you'll see that odd forward pass. He won't get an assist. He might not get a goal, but he's going to play his ass off. And that's exactly what we needed to sort of be the Alan in the Sarri system to Spalletti's, De Rossi. Anguissa is that guy. So Anguissa will allow Fabian to move a little bit more central. And he got that goal against Genoa for doing that, because when Lobotka was playing, he was able to move up. Now, so that's the thing. The midfield, then you have Zielinski, who for me was this close to winning midfielder of the season, but Barella was just that much better.
Yeah.
But last season, he was this close to double digits in goals and assists, 9 goals, 10 assists.
Crazy.
So, I think this midfield, and then, again, we're bringing in Mertens, and he'll be a number 10 behind, like backing up Zielinski, but he could also play in the attack. This midfield is one of the best in Italy, and a lot of people don't recognize it because Barella's on Inter, because Kessi's on Milan, and because, Juventus don't have really that great of a midfield, so we can forget about them. But the midfield is vital to me, and that just by bringing Anguissa in made it that much better.
Making sure my microphone was on here. I keep muting it. Anyway, you guys are obviously one of the favorites this year. If people who don't rate Napoli this year, they're mistaken. And Napoli is certainly, I think, a lock for Champions League. I think where they fall in that spot is going to be questioned. But for you, this is your time. Why are Napoli going to win the Scudetto this season with the cast of characters that they have? Obviously, Zambo is a great example. But tell us why you think they're going to win the Scudetto this year.
Spalletti. Let me go on record as saying that I predicted Napoli finish second, because I can't be that homer guy like you are, Frank, Daddy Frankie. I can't do it. I can't pick them.
I did too, Daddy.
Papa, sienta acá. I can't pick Napoli to win the Scudetto. I can't do it. I can't pick them.
I'm never going to live that. I'm never going to live that down, am I?
For those listening that don't understand what we're talking about, Frank, many episodes when we had Raffa on, he says,
right around when Raffa and I had our birthdays. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says, my friend says to me, Daddy.
Yeah.
Apparently his friends call him Daddy. I did not call him Daddy when we met, by the way.
So Frank is Daddy now. Daddy Calcio.
I'm the daddy of English speaking Calcio. I've if this
and that's when we labeled,
gosh.
yeah, we labeled Pandev Nonno Goran that day too. So
True.
we got Nonno Goran and Daddy Frankie.
Another one that's going down in folklore history for Serie.
Oh gosh,
For sure.
I could not stop laughing that episode. Oh my god,
that was a good one. Yeah,
we're not making it to 201.
I mean, I wasn't surprised that you knew the Price is Right game, the name of it right like that. I almost wanted to summon my late nonna to get the answer from her, but you beat me to it, you know. So the Price is Right game that you were talking to earlier today. Anyway, Napoli are not winning the Scudetto. At least that was my prediction. But if Napoli do win the Scudetto, it will be because of Spalletti, because Insigne is Insigne. He's a good player, no matter who says what. I see a lot of people talk about Insigne being overrated, especially with the Nazionale. You know, I think he's one of the best players, and you don't put anybody else on the left. But we also kept guys like Adam Unas, who we've been ducking and dodging for many, many years, and he's coming through really big. Petagna's coming in a little bit earlier in each match and getting decent minutes and got another match winner. Now that's 4 match winners off the bench for Petagna in his 6 Serie A goals for Napoli. Just so you know. And then you have Osimhen, who's about to blow up. Yeah. I mean, no goals in Serie A yet. He missed the one game. He was out early in the first match. He played against Juve. Now he's got to play here. He's going to miss time for the African Cup of Nations. But watch out. He now that his duck is broken in the two goals in the Europa League, he will unload on this league. And, you know, honestly, I think top to bottom, we're a decent team. I would have liked to see a new left back come in, but I really don't think it matters because Mario Rui is not as bad as people think he is either.
No, he's not.
We have depth in the goalkeeper position. We have depth everywhere, especially once everybody comes back from injury. Again, we have Lobotka coming back. We have Demme coming back. We have Mertens coming back. Once this team is 100%, watch out.
Oh, by the way, Daddy picked Osimhen to win the Capocannoniere.
I did.
Yeah.
Who'd you pick, Richard? Who'd you pick? Someone that's not even in the league anymore.
I picked Ronaldo. He might win a Capocannoniere in England. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I honestly predicted Osimhen to do it. I might have gone a little nuts and said that he would beat Higuain's record because I can't stand Higuain and we need his record beaten by another Napoli player. But I don't think it'll be that many, but it will definitely be enough to win a Capocannoniere. And again, we have Spalletti who knows how to produce Capocannoniere winners. And we have Spalletti who knows how to produce clean sheets, you know. We only have one in the league right now, but that's okay. We're doing really good. We're doing, 3 of 3. We have a chance to go top, tomorrow, 4 wins out of 4. And that's a funny story. I was watching the Juve Milan game earlier with my fiance, and I swear on my life, I'm editing a podcast for Far From Vesuvius that I just put out. The one with Sonia, by the way, she got a hold of me, and we were able to collaborate today.
Awesome.
I
Sonia's
do a nice
great.
little, she's amazing. Great to listen to. So knowledgeable, wonderful guest. I do a nice little segment called Frenemies now. I've created this segment where I'm getting a person who's either just a super fan, popular on Twitter, or content creator for a specific club that is playing against us, So I've had a Venezia guy, a Genoa guy, a Juve guy, and now I had Sonia on for Udinese, who is probably the only English-speaking Udinese fan anyone knows. And it was wonderful. And I'm editing this show while I'm watching the game. And I turned to my fiance and she asked me, well, who do we need to win this? Because she knows where Milan is and she knows how we feel about Juventus. I said, God, honestly, I kind of need Juve to win this. And she goes, what? And I said, yeah, it's either that or a tie. I say, you know what, though? No, I can never wish Juventus to win. So it's got to be either a tie or a Milan win. As soon as I said that, right? I did say, but I think if it stays like this, I'd be happy because, Juve would win, and if we win, they don't gain any ground on us, and then we're like clear the top pretty much, right? But then the corner kick, I swear, it says as they were setting up the corner kick, and the goal goes in from the Brahim, right? Brahim Diaz, right? And I just cheered so loud because not only do I despise Juventus, I actually really like Milan. I've said this to you before. I like Milan, and I remember I said it in last show, and you put up breaking. Rafa's a Milan fan now. I like Milan. I like their team. I think they're great. They're ambitious. They're young. They came back from down 2-0 against Liverpool and draw at level at the half. I thought that was wonderful. I really wish that they would keep that result. They didn't, but guess what? It's their first match back in Champions League in how many years? They'll be fine. They're in such a tough group too. Even if they finish third, go into the Europa League, I think that getting to continue to yeah, I still love Milan. Getting to continue to play in the Champions in European play and maybe going for like another European trophy for me would be great for Milan because I absolutely love that Pioli is, I love it. I love everything about it. I'm a Milan guy. I am.
Amazing. What's acceptable for you for Napoli this season? What would you? I would assume top 4 is an acceptable outcome for you and for Napoli supporters this season.
Top 4 is vital. Okay. Top 4 is extremely vital. Like we cannot accept 5th. If we finish 5th, we better win the Europa League because we got to get back to the Champions League no matter how it takes. We have to finish Champions League position. Anything better than that is the cherry on top of the cake. But, I mean, why not dream for Scudetto? Why not dream for 2nd? Why not go for it,
Right.
But also, I really, really, really want a deep run in Europe. I think the Europa League semifinal should be attainable this season, even though with the emergence of the Conference League, the field has shrunk in the Europa League and made it a lot more competitive and a lot more tough.
Yeah.
Look at those groups. Look at Lazio's group. It's a Champions League group. Look at ours, actually. Leicester City, Spartak Moscow, and Legia Warsaw. Okay, maybe besides Warsaw, but they got to win over Spartak Moscow.
Yep.
That's a tough group. It's a tough Europa League group.
Warsaw is a difficult game away.
Yeah,
the burden of traveling to those places is enough.
Exactly, so. And you're getting rid of teams like Apoel and Ludogorets and AFC Richmond. They're out of here.
Providence City FC.
Yeah, and for me, you have to go big. You have to go big. You have to go big in the Europa League because you can't express yourself as a top European club if you can't get to those last rounds of the Europa League. And Napoli's been stuck on the round. They made one semifinal appearance in the ADL era, and they lost out to, oh my gosh, I don't even remember who it was. It was someone ridiculous. It was in 2015. They played against Sevilla in the final. It was someone, I don't remember. I can't even remember who it was. And it's ridiculous. We should have gone to the final that season. But
everybody plays at the final in the Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. Not saying we would have won that final, but we have to do better. We have to do better in Europe. We got to take it seriously. A lot of fans don't care about the Europa League. Want us to crash out so we could concentrate on the league. Listen, it's so hard to win the league. As hard as it is to win in Europe, it's that much harder to win your league, especially when you had Juventus winning 9 in a row, now Inter. And there's so many great teams this season, man. So many great teams in Serie A. You have to prioritize everything. Everything's got to be a priority. So for me, I need to see a lot more from them in Europe as well.
Raffa,
for sure.
Raffa, you have a bunch of you're doing a lot of great content right now, obviously. This is your time to plug away. Tell us all the shows, your 2 important shows. What are they? Where can people find them? And where can people find you on social media?
Yes, sir. First, like to say I'm very tired. It's tiring. But the Raff and Raff rant on YouTube, that's my baby right now. Without Ralph Pizarro, my partner in crime with that we'd be lost. He is the Richard Carmen to sit down. Frank's not paying attention. That's okay.
I am.
He fell asleep. Daddy, are you awake?
Daddy? Yeah,
I'm fine.
You're like my dad. I try to wake him up from the couch. He's like this.
No, I know where I stand. I just come on here. I just come on here and say words. Richard does everything.
So do I. And that's what I do. And Ralph Pizarro is the glue to Raff and Raff rant. Everything you see is because of him. But also Far from Vesuvius. We've gone away for a little bit, and when I say gone away, I mean we've like just kind of calmed down with content. A lot of great Napoli content was coming through. A lot of stuff was going on with the crew, personally, professionally, COVID, everything. But I've decided to get their juices flowing and pump in a resurgence for them. And we're all excited to keep going with that. So I've been doing regular podcasts there, the Frenemies thing, just kind of wrapping up stuff that we missed on the Raff and Raff rant. I would also post Raff and Raff rants audio shows to Far from Vesuvius podcast network, so you can catch that there as well. But now we also have articles coming out. Ken is working on a Twitch network for Far from Vesuvius. He's been having trouble getting it going, but he's come up with a schedule now, so hopefully he can get it through. Marco Cubani D'Onofrio's come back from Twitter hell, and he's back up. We're just flying, man. We've got content, got shows coming out almost every day. So check us out there at Far from Vesuvius on Twitter, at Raff and Raff on Twitter. You can find me at Raffanopoli83 on Twitter. We're also on all the other stuff that the kids go on these days too. So you could just do a search and find us there.
Awesome.
Rafa, we always have a great time when we have you on. I just want you to know that. And I want you to know that you, Ken, James, you've all meant a lot to us. You've all been very supportive of us. We've been privileged to have you on through the years, and we're grateful that you took the time to come on and be a part of this celebration tonight.
The only man who has better hair than me.
Yeah, I gotta say, Richard, your hair is nice, but I can't cut my hair anymore, guys. Like it's become a trademark, especially the beard. I want you guys to see this. Ralph made these mugs. How am I supposed to shave now? I got this mug on a mug. How am I supposed to shave my beard? It's not happening.
You can't.
It's a trademark now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, listen. 200. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I gotta go check how many episodes we did now to see if we could catch up.
We used to keep count. We lost count.
Yeah, dude. I love your stuff. I love your content. And again, I had trouble not finding. I knew Sonia, but I had trouble contacting her. She was busy throughout the week too. So, things happen where people get busy. So I was really in a time crunch and in a pinch with who I could have on to be my frenemy, quote unquote, for Udinese. And the first group I thought of besides her was you guys, even though you're Milanisti, because of the amazing knowledge that you guys have and possess league-wide. Like, I listen to you guys. I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes in the shower, I listen to you guys. Listen, I got
awkward. That's awkward.
No, I got a lot of catching up to do a lot of the time. I don't miss a show. I'm telling you, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's in my ear, like going to bed, or in, like I said, I put the phone on the thing in the shower, or I in the car, at work. Anytime I can listen to Calcio content, I do it. But you guys and your knowledge, like, I'm scratching my head, like, holy crap! How did he just boom like that and remember that? Gotti was the manager of Udinese. Like, what the hell? I forgot. I had no idea. And I just was like, you know what? Let me contact the Serie Sit Down boys and see if they're available to fill in on behalf of Udinese on my show. Luckily, Sonia got back to me because she's a real Udinese fan, and I got to speak with her. But I'd love for you guys to be available for me if I can't find somebody to represent the other team, because there's nobody else that I want on my show other than you guys, either one of you, because you guys are the best, for real.
Done. Thank you.
And I also have to listen to you from the beginning.
Rafa, those words mean so much, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. And we're gonna get you on. We're gonna get you on real soon. Maybe when Napoli and Milan are on the same pitch, we'll break that one down and we'll get you on pretty quick for that. Okay.
For sure, guys. Thank you. Good luck to Milan the rest of the way. Forza Napoli, sempre.
Same to Napoli. All the best.
All right.
Well,
Headliner left.
So I don't want to know who. I don't know who. I don't want to know who our shower listeners are, Richard. I don't. I appreciate Rafa saying that. I mean, somewhat, but I don't. Just listen to us. I don't need to know where you're listening to us.
TMI, huh?
Yeah. Michael's point. TMI.
All right, one act left. It's the headliner.
Are we gonna have? We might as well have him help us batch the rest of the games too. That we had Milan, we had Juve, we had Inter.
So before we bring on our guests, someone had sent a message to us on, I think, on YouTube or somewhere. And they're like, "Hey, we love your show. Your show would be great if it was an hour long." So how do we come back with that? Over 2 hours of the show.
Yeah, we're almost at like 2.5 hours. This is our 200th episode. So everybody in the
gonna go 200 minutes.
Chat that has been, why can't you just keep it to an hour? We have 20 teams to cover. Okay, we can't do that in an hour. It's like we want to make sure that we're trying to give every team their attention, and we also have Who Won Calcio Twitter, which you all love. We got to jam that in. We're not going to be an hour long ever, and this is our 200th episode. So sorry, we're going to be on a little bit longer this go around, right?
You're getting a little choppy now. It looks like maybe you didn't pay your internet bill or something.
I paid my bill. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. It's choppy. It's very choppy. It's all right. We got you keep.
Should I move the mic?
No, it's not the mic. It's the signal. The signal is choppy.
The signal's choppy. Well,
yeah.
My signal looks like it's perfect right now. So
yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. Maybe it's mine.
Well, you heard that, so I assume we're okay.
Yeah, we're still going on. But let's bring on our guest.
Virat over here is a shower listener. Jesus, I don't need to know this, guys. I don't.
Into sleep. Don't forget about it.
Have a shower beer while you're shower listening to Serie. Sit down. At least do that.
And we just lost our guest.
Did we lose our guest?
We did lose our guest. It's okay.
Jerry.
We'll wait for him to come back. Maybe. Yes, it is him. Hang tight. Well, there he is. All right. He's trying to scare us here. All right. So, Jerry, as we mentioned, Jerry Mancini, welcome to the show. Trying to give us a heart attack.
So this is when we bring Jerry on. We bring Jerry on when everybody's gone to bed. So no one's gonna know what you say. So you can talk all the shit you want about Roma losing to Hellas Verona today.
Oh man, it's like after hours.
There you go. After hours of Carson Daly here.
I closed the window by accident like minutes ago. I was like, "Oh
We're calling
shit!"
you the Hakan. We're calling you the Hakan.
Michael Lisi. There's only one chick left in the bar.
Here she comes. Fucking Lisi. Oh man, yeah, it was a good day of football.
What did Alex say earlier? What did he call it? The slump buster. You're the slump buster. you and Alex were meant to do a podcast together.
That's right.
I can't complain. I'm good, man. Freaking. I caught the.
How's Chilo doing?
Oh, he's first in the league in scoring.
You got a goal today? You got a goal today?
As bad as Lazio is progressing right now, because it's going to take time, he's still banging goals. I wish he can do that for Italy, but I don't know what it is, man. It's this confidence level. I don't know. I think, you know what? Stephen Moore said it perfect. He mentioned It's the fact that he's the go-to guy on Lazio, and he's the lead guy. Like, they go to him. The ball goes to him. It doesn't go to him with Italy. Like, no one looks at him to get the ball. Everyone looks at other players to get the ball. It's just not him in the system. So, you know what? When it comes to Azzurri, I'm on board. I think you guys have mentioned it too. Like, let him come on the bench, off the bench, kill 30 minutes. Become a super sub like kind of player where he can attack weak defenses. I don't know. Maybe give Raspadori a start. I'm not Moise Kean. I'm sorry, he's not a number 9 for me. I didn't see an impact for him today with Juventus. I'm gonna give a shout out to Milan because, and I'm gonna take some blame here. I thought that, and I even wrote a piece on Stefano Pioli and how well he did last season and how he's really turned the ship. I thought he was going to get fired this season because of how they ended the season last year. I wasn't impressed with how Milan finished to end on the latter part, getting dominated against Lazio and nearly missing out on Champions League. But you got to give them credit because they've come out this season and last year hasn't been a factor. Like, they've been dominant in all 4 games. They looked amazing against Lazio. I know people are going to say they played a Lazio side who's in transition, who's learning. At the end of the day, I don't buy into that because it's very easy to play to your opponent's level and really sink yourself down. I thought, if anything, the one team who played them best this year is Sampdoria. I think they were their toughest opponent. I didn't think Juventus was that great today. I know I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that this was a good performance from Juventus.
No, they were in your typical game manager mode that you see from Allegri. Allegri was happy to see that early goal and was happy to say, "All right, let's manage our way through these 90 minutes and get out of here with the 1-0." That's what I saw. And you know what? I don't blame Allegri for setting up that way and for adjusting that way because how was Milan going to score? You have Rebic out of position, and you have. It was very easy for Chiellini and Bonucci to sit back and allow play to be predictable and step in and win their tackles. It was going to take a set piece for Milan to get something out of the game, and a set piece came along and they scored. So
no, I always say that Milan are a little unlucky not winning the game because I thought Rebic should have buried them. That one chance he had in the box where he stutters. Like, you know what? I was watching this game and I didn't look at the scoreline. I'm a kind of guy, like, if I missed a game, I don't look at my phone because I don't want to know the result, and I look at it as a fan then. So watching this game, I was saying to myself, before he scored, he's a very frustrating player where he does a lot of good things, but he does those little things at the same time that just makes you like wonder, like, how does he go on so well, but so bad? Like, it's just, his finish is real. I don't even know. He's not even a number 9, is he, right? He's a winger, no? Would you classify him as?
He's best on the left.
Best on the left. Yeah, that's the thing. He's not a pure striker, so it's not fair to judge him on scoring. But when you're in that position, you kind of want him to do that, right? But overall, the game, Tonali, I saw a lot of people say Tonali was the best midfielder. I don't personally think so. I personally think that Brahim Diaz was. That's the way a little guy can win battles and use his speed so smart is like unbelievable. Like, he really stood out to me. I think Tonali had a really good game, but I don't look at stats. I don't look at the key passes, and I look at what you've done off the ball and with the ball, and his positioning has really grown, and I like players who are able to kind of like use their speed effectively, and I think there are a few plays where he could have gotten down and conceded the foul, but he just kept on running. And lastly, there's no need for Milan to kick the ball out. Let's just get this straight. Unless it's a head injury, there is no need to stop a play. I thought Dybala had a good game, but when he when he does that, it's just like stupid because there's no sense in having to go after Tonali and give him a body check. Like, I understand they're telling him to clear out the ball, but 99% of the time, no one knocks it out, man. Like, it's a play that keeps on going, and that's it. This mutual respect, and you have to show me respect, and it's all to me, it's all like garbage. But you know what? It seems as if Milan holds their destiny right now against Inter to win the Scudetto. I know a lot of people are saying Napoli. I think it's going to be up and down. I think you're gonna see Juventus kind of turn it around. I would not count them out yet. No shot, because with it's just so wide open. Like, I didn't watch the Roma game today, but I heard it was poorly managed. The Verona came out really guns glowing. I'm not going to insult Roma because Lazio hasn't looked that great.
Well, I think both, I know you probably hate Lazio and Roma, and Nisi hate you guys being compared to each other, but I think this is an interesting game for both you guys because both, Roma faced a Hellas team with a new manager. Lazio faced a Cagliari team with a new manager. For sure, it would have been a trap game for both of you in the sense that you're facing two teams that are going to get a rejuvenation with this new manager. You're going to play better. We knew Cagliari as a good team, just not playing up to standards with Walter Mazzarri now. And then now you got Hellas Verona with Tudor. Both teams are going to play up to their opponent in this one and give their team a headache. Were you surprised to see, not so much Roma, but for your team, have such a tight gaming against Cagliari and come out with a draw?
I'm so mad because our defense sucks. It's so bad that
it's a surprise that they're going to play that well. Or not well.
At home, you know what? I'm not surprised because it's really weird. Anybody who's home team in football always gains the greater possession, the bulk of possession. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, and you're the visitor and you're traveling to like another stadium, even if you're the best team, the home team always holds a greater percentage of like ball possession. So like Spezia, we were dominant on the ball. Against Empoli, we kind of sat back. Against Galatasaray, we sat back. Like, I don't get it why teams do that and not just play the way you play at home as you are in another stadium. I was kind of disappointed because just recently, again, Stephen Moore, shout out to him. He pointed out that Lazzari he's good at right back, but he's also bad at right back because he plays too high and he exposes himself. I do agree with that, but I think that's what Sarri wants, though. He wants that overload where you're able to kind of like get that pass, kind of creativity. I also don't know what Sarri wants either because I don't know where this team is headed because we can fault of how they play, but if you're gonna play players in positions that just not suited to them, you got to play something different. I know you want your Sarri ball 4-3-3 and you want your ticky-tacky kind of one-touch passes. Yeah. It doesn't work when you don't have a regista. Like Lucas Leiva as a regista, guys.
Doesn't work.
What are we playing?
I want to say Sarri can't adapt, but we know he can because he did that at Chelsea. So he can adapt. The question is, will he? And, right now he doesn't have the players for the positions that, he wants. So to your credit, Jerry, will he adapt and make it a more suitable, more malleable, a team that fits what you have right now and make it a more achievable thing? Or he's going to try to squeak out the results like he did with Juventus and hope that it gets to that level? I don't know.
You can't squeak it with Lazio, man, because we don't have the personnel like
there's no wiggle room either.
The only difference between this team and Juventus is that it has a better midfield. That's it.
Well, they're in relegation
and it's kind of pushing it because again, he doesn't have a regista like Juve. I think there's two options. Either you play Danilo Cataldi as a regista because he showed that he could. Lazio turned it around as soon as he came on in the second half, or you try Sergei Milinkovic-Savic as a regista. I know that I know he's a box-to-box midfielder. You got it. It can't be. It cannot.
Wouldn't do it. Would not do it. I keep him where he is.
I know, but I agree with you, Frank. But at the same time, I think that you probably better utilize him as a regista because he can move the ball fast. He can do those one-touch passes. He can get back into the defense. He can get back. He can get forward. He can advance the ball quickly. He's the only guy who's suited for ball of the three. Luis Alberto did have a good game today, but he also had a bad game. It's really weird because he created chances. He made good passes, but here's the problem. He holds the ball too long. 3-5-2, you have time to hold. You have time to look around. Luis Alberto can't play ball. He can't. Lucas Leiva can't play it, not because he doesn't have the abilities, because his style of game is defensive. So it doesn't work what Sarri wants from him. Savage now can do it because he has the qualities of playing quick, one-touch passes. Like the way I watched him today, he was the most effective midfielder. He's constructed the way I look at Savage is that he's a guy who can adapt his game and think outside the box. Alberto is so one-minded that his value next year is not going to be 40 million anymore. It's going to be 20 million for how. And Alberto's trying to play that kind of game, but he can't. And if you watch him, they just close him down. 3 guys go on him, suffocate him, doesn't know what to do with the ball, forces it to something, turns it over. When you watch Savage play, it's amazing how quick his decision-making is, how quick he gets rid of the ball. He doesn't think. He's already thinking the next play, and that's Jorginho. He's a similar type of player to Jorginho for me, where he isn't Jorginho, but he can play like him if he has to. I know you're saying you don't take out Savage on that right side, but it's tough, man.
And crazy enough that it might work because if you insert Pedro into a starting lineup, you got to drop somebody, right? Well, you don't want to drop SMS for sure. You're going to drop Leiva. If you want to have, SMS, Alberto, and Pedro all at the same time, that might work. That's crazy enough that it might work. You lose a lot of offensive stuff with SMS being in the defensive midfielder role, but Regista, but it's crazy enough. It might work. I'm not going to say they should, but
I can't do it. I can't do it. I think SMS stays where he is. I think Luis Alberto stays where he is. I would not mess with that. I mean, part of my criticism with watching Lucas Leiva plays is that he still thinks he can win tackles in higher positions, and nobody tells him that he's 34 years old and that he can't do that anymore, and that his job is just got to sit your ass in front of the 2 center backs and don't go that much farther forward. You're not a box-to-box guy anymore, or even a box-to midfield stripe guy anymore. You're a sit in front of Luis Felipe and Acerbi, and don't go too much farther away from them. You're not a guy, because if you go high and you leave those half spaces in between you and the 2 center backs, we're cooked. Okay, that's the way I look at it as a Lazio guy. Now, who would I put there? I would take a shot at Akba Akpro, even though for whatever reason Simone Inzaghi and now Saudi prefer him kind of being the apprentice to SMS. Maybe
there's a defender who can get in there.
No, I wouldn't do a defender. I would be a midfielder. Or do you do Cataldi? Or, hell, you bought Escalante. Isn't that what you brought him in? Isn't that what you brought him in to be?
I agree.
COVID protocol?
I think all of these guys are better options to me than Lucas Leiva at Lucas Leiva's stage in his career, personally. So.
Yeah, if you can find Escalante, that might be the guy right there. But
I should. I don't have the stats on top right now, but last year, Lucas Leiva lead in tackles, recoveries, interceptions. Carlo Garganese gave me these stats, and I was going to use him for an article on him, but he had some impressive stats last year. That's where he's effective, making those recoveries, those defensive challenges. That's his game. Well, anybody who watched the Dortmund versus Lazio game, he was our best player, but he's good retrieving the ball. And then he right away he doesn't build from the back. That's not his game. He never advances upfield. So like Sarri can't make things happen. Like if it's not there, he has Cataldi. I don't know why this guy never gets a chance. Like I hate how people say he sucks. And I say people, Lazio fans, a lot because he's dust. How does a guy have a chance? Like he needs to play 10 games in a row. You see what he can give you, and then you can judge a player. You don't give a performance today and then tomorrow he's off. You know what I mean? Like look at Sandro Tonali. He's playing consistently, and I call he's getting better. Like you got to give these players time to adapt. Now I'll say one thing: with 3 minutes left in the game, I was really disappointed with the coaching. Why would you take off Luis Alberto and bring on John Daniel Akpa-Akpro when you're tied 2-2 and you're trying to win the game? And you take off Felipe Anderson, your best player, and you bring in Raul Maro, 18-year-old, who I thought did well when he came in, but still, it's 2-2. You're not. Why are you defending for the lead? You're attacking, and if you're gonna take out Luis Alberto, bring on Toma Basic. You spent $8 million. You spent $8 million for an attacking midfielder, where Sarri has quoted him as the backup to Alberto, kind of basically, and you bring on Akpa-Akpro in a 2-2 game. Like these guys get paid millions of dollars and they make these brain fart decisions, man. That was the big thing I did not like in this game because it's.
Let me ask you this about the Roman clubs as a whole. I have a feeling that they both fell victim to a new manager bump today. You get that. It's like, okay, hey, I got to get out there. I got to impress the new manager if I want to keep my job. In the case of Hellas Verona, Igor Tudor's an upgrade from EDF. Mazzarri's at the stage of Mazzarri's accomplished a decent bit, but I mean, he's a lateral move from Simplici with what he's done in his career lately, but to me, I look at the Roman clubs and I kind of dismiss it. Okay. Yeah. New manager bump for both of you. But I mean, that's the way I look at it with Roma. Okay. Because I don't think under Mourinho, they're going to do that as often as you've seen Roma do that under other managers. I think Mourinho is the kind of manager that's going to look at that and say, okay, guy, that was bullshit. Okay. Don't do it again. Where, Fonseca didn't know how to deal with it. Managers before him didn't know how to deal with it. Okay. Sarri, as we've been talking about, this is an adaptation right now. And this is a growing pain thing. You've changed to a completely different system. It takes a lot to go from a back 3 to a back 4. Now you're asking Lazzari to be a fullback instead of a wingback. He doesn't have as much cover behind him as he used to. You're looking at Husay, who has some experience playing Sarri's system, so that's fine. But now you're asking Immobile to be the center forward of a 4-3-3 and ask Italy fans how that's worked out so far. In terms of the overall body of work, there's moments where he's been outstanding for Italy, but then there's moments where he hides. So how much time are you willing to give Sarri right now? Given all of the changes, given the culture change, the tactics change, given just about everything is completely changing with Lazio at this point.
Oh man, that I was actually going to tweet that out. It's how long does Claudio Lotito stay patient for? I agree, and that's the biggest question is Lotito. Because he must have for how much negotiating they did to sign this guy to a contract. First off, it's only a 2-year deal with an option, so Lotito did his homework right. He's not signed long term to him, or most people sign 4-year deals, 3-year deals, and I think it's how long are the players willing to buy into this? More importantly than Lotito, because do the players try to work through it, try to build something new, or do they start to get restless? And I kind of seen that with Savage today, where he kind of was really frustrated in the last 5 minutes because of how they were crossing the ball to him, how they're passing. And at times you can see the frustration where it's not working for them. It's not what they are. I think what I thinking back, like maybe Walter Mazzarri, I know I was against it. Maybe he was the best move at the time, where you go to a lateral 3-5-2 and you go with somebody who had the experience. And I know a guy like Nima doesn't like him, but it's not about like or hate. He suits the lateral, like you just said. Cagliari went laterally. You're not going to go hire a guy of 4-3-3 when the team's built to a 3-5-2, and that was always the difficulty with Lazio, where you got a lot of different pieces. It's like a puzzle, and you're putting the puzzle together, and all the pieces are not connecting because they're all over the place. So this is very. How long do you go for? I don't know. Like, does it get better on Thursday against Torino? Like, you don't want to go to the bottom of the barrel and have to play catch up.
Yeah.
Have there been positive signs? I think Immobile has been positive. A lot of people think that he was ineffective today for 45 minutes, but I think off the ball he runs back, he tracks back, he wins, he chases, he makes passes. Like he's effective on and off the ball. Savic, probably your best player of the season.
Felipe Anderson's been good.
Felipe Anderson had a really good game today. Really good game.
I feel like Pedro's being jammed in.
He's been good. He's been good.
He's not Roma good, but he's been good.
He's been good. I'm not. It's what? It's not other than Lucas Leiva. It's not the midfield, and it's not the forwards at the issue. It's the back end, because we conceded 2 errors today, which were Luis Felipe in the first minute. I don't know what he's doing, overcommitting to a Chirby's guy, leaves the back end open, and he gets roasted, okay? The second goal, he gets roasted, loses the battle one-on-one, gets beat easily. A Chirby's accountable to, not the same guy anymore, slow. That guy can't play. I don't know why he runs all the way up to the front and then tries to run back, because you're not 25 years old. You're not getting back. Husai, terrible first half, got burned like 6 times. Like I said before, Lazzari plays high up, gets beat. Like, we don't concede a lot of chances, but like we concede brain farts. That's how we beat ourselves. We did it against Galatasaray. We did it today. Every game. We did it against Milan. Milan's goals were not from them building the play. It's from Lazio trying to play sorry ball. And if it's not like the first goal, I think we were trying to force pass, and everybody played up high. And what did Milan do? They intercepted the ball, went to counterattack, got exposed because our back line was all over the place, garbage. If you go watch every Lazio goal conceded, it's all from trying to learn. Sorry, and it's not like they got beat. Because it's. But how long do you go with that though? Like it's. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll draw a comparison just here at home, coaching my son's under 10 academy team right now. We're in a 7v7, we're playing 7v7, we're playing against tougher competition. Do you know we're conceding goals? Because we're trying to play out of the back, which is how I want them to play. And we're just under hitting passes, and then they just counter and score. That's how we give up our goals. We're winning games, we're creating and scoring a lot of goals, but we're giving like 2 or 3 goals a game just because we're making a technical error here or there. And right now, playing Saudi ball at Lazio, there's a technical error here or there that's keeping them from achieving what Maurizio Sarri demands of them. So, I mean, it's
he needs at least a season. He needs at least a season. He needs at least a season, I think, for them to get. I
agree.
I think that the odd guy out of this, the only guy I'm convinced who's not bought into the system and is on his own island, is Luis Alberto. That's the only guy I feel that he is not 100% on board, and he's trying to play his game and not Sarri's game, and he's not adapting. Like that's all I can say is he's the only guy I am not sold on. When you watch him play, he holds the ball too long. That's not Sarri type football. That's why he likes Akpa. And I give credit to Joseph Fischetti from Forza Napoli podcast. He said it perfectly. He knows Sarri inside out, and he goes, "How's Akpa? Does he make one pass? Does he make quick passes? Does he run quickly? Does he transition quickly? He does." He brings him on because Sarri gets what he wants from that player. He's playing to his style of game. He's trying to adapt to what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's why you see him starting on this past Thursday. He's getting starts, and like I don't think he should be the guy behind Savage. But again, I'm not a manager. I don't know the tactics like you guys do. Probably like you guys, like yourself, Frank. You manage, you coach. I don't coach. I just read based on concepts, philosophy, and all that. And for me, it's the midfield. It's funny because in the last 5 seasons, it's never been the midfield that's the problem for Lazio. It's always been the back end that's the problem. Yeah. We never had that depth. Now all of a sudden, the midfield is an issue in a different way, where you do have the personnel, but it's just not being used properly. If I'm sorry, I would change the formation up, and I would try to maybe do like a 4-3-1-2, and have 2 strikers up front.
Yeah, but he won't do that. I mean, he doesn't know that system, and it's too foreign to him. I mean, I get it. I think personnel-wise, it makes a whole lot of sense for Lazio to play that way. But I mean, I think it would actually make them better. But I can't see Sarri trying to play that way. I just can't see it.
But here's a bigger question for you guys: How long until Sarri loses patience as well, right? And he decides to do something different, or else. Like, I guess there's a threshold, right? Or does he just keep on going and
he'll keep on going?
He'll keep on going. I think, and Richard and I have talked about this with Lazio. I said this is the team that gets worse before they get better, just because of the changes, just because of the tactics, the formation, the way they're trying to do things. And the growing pains are going to happen now. But you're going to get to January, you're going to get to February, and all of it. I fully expect, based on his track record, by January, February, we're looking at a Lazio that everybody should be worried about when they play them, because by then it'll click. By then it'll kick on. By then you'll have, the players will have the repetition, they'll have the familiarity, and I think that they will be a better team for that, and I think that they will be able to implement Sarri ball a little bit better. So. It takes time. I mean, we go through this every year. There's always one team every year that a new manager comes along, and Richard and I look at it and said, that team's going to stink for a while, but after a while, it's going to click, and they're going to be really good. Yep. So, last year, Sampdoria was that team for us, and I think that they finished reasonably well under Ranieri. This year we said it's Lazio. I said,
yeah, 2 years ago we said it was Sarri and Juventus. So it's a track record. Jerry, you mentioned brain farts. I go ahead and give Strakosha saying that he should be the one starting, that he's the guy. People shouldn't be throwing him to the side.
I never said that, for the record. So
I said that. And go ahead and Europa League, and he does what he did and give the only goal of the game.
It happens. You know what, man? Did you see Reina today? You think he's been any better this season? He
should have been a header by João Pedro, by the way.
It was, but there you go, Pepe Reina. Why is he coming off his line? He doesn't need to do that.
Yep.
A guy's a veteran. Like he made so many poor passes today. Like he was terrible, and yet he gets no criticism. I don't get this guy. I'm so done with right now. Like Strakosha's the goalkeeper. I don't care that he made a mistake on Thursday. I do not care. He played good the whole game and just made one mistake. You know what? That the way the ball comes down, it's kind of awkward if you really look at it. It's like near the post, and he just mistimes the jump. It happens. Like it's human error. I like to see him start on Thursday. I don't think it's gonna happen. I have to see that freaking Tubby come in again, but fucking can't handle him, man. Like,
but sure enough, we mentioned Cagliari, and George jumps into the chat. Oh, nowhere. His ears must be tuned into Cagliari. He's like,
I'm gonna make a bold. I'm gonna say that Savage doesn't get sold this summer.
Okay.
He'll stay with Lazio. He's part of the long term. He's committed. He bought a house there. Apparently, like, he loves the city. Never asked to leave. I think Alberto's time is done. And if Milan makes Champions League, look out, because 2 consecutive years now, it starts to give you money to buy players. You're in a different state. You're not having to re-sign players other than Cassier. He's gone. If it's 9 million, that's not happening. I can see Alberto coming in that midfield, that number 10 that they're kind of not lacking, but that extra player option. Jerry has super villain lighting.
We've been doing Who Won Calcio backgrounds. You've got the supervillain lighting going on. Yeah. You've got the dark. You're on the dark. You're in the dark side.
So Jerry, with all that's going on, to wrap it up on Lazio, for all that's gone on this season, with the ups and downs, with what you thought they were going to do when Sarri first came in, how do you foresee the rest of the season going? Do you see it still going in a positive way? You see Champions League? What do you see?
I don't see Champions League anymore. Okay. Now I see the reality that 5th or 6th place is realistic. Okay. I won't count out Europa League. I think they have that in them. I don't think a top 4 spot is in grasp, but at the same time, no one's looked good personally other than Milan and Inter. I think they're the only teams that are well equipped to finish top 4. I think you're going to see Napoli kind of tail off, because as much as it's Spalletti's system, they're still adjusting to how Spalletti wants to play. You're going to see good days and bad days from them. I still believe that. Atalanta, guys, the rainbow's gone, the magic's gone.
The bloom's off the rose.
Yeah,
huh?
I'm not convinced, man. I don't care what their record is. They are so lucky they won yesterday.
I hope you didn't look at my predictions, because I have Lazio 8th. I actually think Fiorentina is going to jump ahead of them and grab a European place.
Yeah, Lazio 7th or 6th.
I really love Fiorentina this year.
Doesn't shock me.
Yeah. I think what's going on over there is really, really legit, and the fact that they hung on to Vlahovic was a clincher for me. So,
man, it all depends. I think it's wide open. I think Juventus is in a lot of trouble. I think they're the team that may tail off. Like, everybody thought that Locatelli was the dream answer, but like,
I have Juve finishing 6th.
You know what? I'm not surprised on that. I'm telling you, man, there's going to be a lot of shocking things happening. Like, I will say one thing. The one team who I am really think is going to do well this year is Sampdoria. I was high on them going into the season.
If the forwards can figure it out, playing together and playing off each other, the service is there for them.
Caputo got a brace today.
Yeah, Caputo, my cousin, came through. He knew it was our 200th. He wanted to get it going and wanted to get it going for the family and bag a couple, so he did. So yeah,
I rate Roberto De Versa very highly. I'm a big fan of him because I respect managers. I guess it's nostalgia, if you want to call it, like Semplici, where I like these little, like Parma, the way they came up from Serie C to Serie A. Semplici brought Spal from 3 divisions up into Serie A. I look at that and it kind of tells you the kind of manager they are, what they had to do with a small team. Parma doesn't get relegated if they didn't fire him. If they kept him, they stay up. And I remember you were telling me last season, we did a preview together, and you said that Parma was going to go down because they hired the Lecce manager.
Liverani.
Yeah, yep. I remember you telling me that.
Yep.
And you don't break it if it's not broken. Like Parma
screwed themselves. I agree.
Absolutely. And now they're really in trouble because I don't even think they're doing well in Serie B right now. And like it's just one bad mistake. And it's like, why are you firing a guy if he kept you up? You're not a top 10 team. If he's able to keep you 14th, 13th place, that's good.
Yeah. Like get your Serie A money. Stay up.
Yeah, like
operate with the Serie A money, not the Serie B money. I agree.
That's why I'm really convinced that Sampdoria can do a lot under De Versa. Not maybe I have them finishing 10th or like 11th around there. I do believe that they'll be fine, but it didn't take Verona. And also I had Verona being relegated.
I have them staying up.
Now I
have to change it. I like to put.
Why didn't you guys just listen to me? I said to him, there's too much talent for them to go down. They're going to eventually sack EDF, and somebody's going to come along and fix it, and they're going to stay up. They're too good to
take 4 days.
They're too good to go down.
Yeah. I didn't see it that quick though, man. I honestly thought they were going to go down. They were going to wait too long to fire him.
The bottom end of this league is so bad, though. It's so bad. I mean, Salernitana. Oh my God, they're terrible.
No, you know what, man? They're like the hockey. They remind me of the Oilers. Okay, seriously, where they play so hard and they grit, but they don't have any finishers other than one guy, McDavid, and the rest of the guys can't score. And that's Salernitana. Like they have a lot of good, hard-working players where they create chances and they do stuff, but they don't have a finisher. They don't.
I love their wingback. I love their wingbacks. I rate Ruggieri and I rate Catrita. But that's about it from their team. I
like Gondo. I thought Gondo had a good game.
He's all right.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's all right. But I mean, and then it's the same thing. Empoli, it's so fun to watch, but holy cow, they can't defend. They're so bad defensively. But anyway, but we can talk about that. But you know what? Listen, Rich, let's keep you on here, Jerry, because you're the lucky one. You get to stay on. Richard, let's just get on with it. We have been on so damn long.
3 hours.
We had no idea that it was going to go this long. Let's just get on. Nobody gives a shit what we think were the goals of the week. Well, let's just say that Faraone was the goal of the week and be done with it.
Okay.
For Hellas Verona.
I agree.
And then let's get on with Who Won Calcio Twitter, because we have been on so damn long. It's our 200th episode. We've been partying, we've been drinking, we've been enjoying ourselves. And Jerry, since you've been on with us, we'll help you pick the winner. Richard and I will read through this. Richard, you do the honors. Go first.
All right, first one up. So we tweeted out that AC Milan asking the federation to investigate alleged racism of Lazio fans, and FIGC. This is their leader, Bonucci. Adriano FC with that one.
Everyone's quick to just throw the Leonardo Bonucci pictures up whenever it comes to racism. It's also all right. Gizzard Each, Ed Art Morelli, he's always on the board. Happy National Bald is Beautiful Day. We've got a Borja Bolero in Fiorentina. Who's our guy here with the sunglasses? I'm assuming that's Art.
Morelli? Art.
Is that Art? Okay.
Yep.
Luciano Spalletti, and then, of course, Antonio Conte with the wig.
That was good.
All right.
So Giovanni Milano put us to Uncle Sharma, and he says, so the original tweet is from Lazio saying a happy 250th game for SMS, and then Uncle Sharma says, it's a shame he spent it in Ketsy's pocket. That was a Lazio Milan.
Oh, mercy. Oh, let's see here.
All right.
Okay, so all right, so Art Morelli with a second entry. This was with Eusebio Di Francesco winless in his last 19 Serie A games as manager. During this period, his teams have conceded 33 goals and only scored 13, reshaping. Art Morelli, never mind the panettone. Di Fra won't even get a pumpkin spice latte.
Miss Halloween.
They do pumpkin spice lattes over there at Tim Hortons.
They must. Yeah, Jerry, do you know?
We get them at Starbucks. I know that. I don't.
Starbucks is up there by you guys. Okay.
Yeah, we have them at Starbucks. They're actually really good.
All right, moving on. Big Show at _Nerazzurri. So original tweet was Don Totti saying UV begin their 2021-22 season adventure today. So I thought I would fit in to share this incredible IFTV graphic from 2018. And so Big Show says, funny because they're about to repeat the 2006 season when they got relegated. Poor Juventus.
Nerazzurri's always popping up with one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got at Graham1897. A Ronaldo team choking on Champions League night, but I thought Juventus were holding Mr. UCL back.
Reference to United. They're drawing their game in Champions League this week. All right. Next one coming up. This one comes from a bloke and broke. All right. So original tweet was Nima saying, absolutely love that The Jabiga attitude by Handanovic when asked about his critics, a lot of dog barks in the streets, but I don't start throwing stones at all the dogs barking in the streets. So the reply was, a lot of shots are taken at Inter's goal every match, but I don't start throwing hands at all those shots. The mannequin challenge.
I think we've got a leader in the clubhouse, away from the herd.
Clubhouse right there.
Brilliant.
At away from the herd.
Yep. All right. At G Just Juve, I know I'm a Juventus supporter, but I don't care tonight. Forza Bruges.
Forza is a black and blue, and it's Bruges, not Inter. Yep. Sorry. Oh, okay. Let's see. Napoleonissimos, and it says Buffon showing his new Champions League medal to his Parma teammates today.
Napoleonismo is flat out killing this season right now.
Yeah, he's like the leader in terms of the amount.
Man, this is just crazy. All right. So at Samo_33X, they are making fun of jobless Ralph Rangnick. Chat between Jurgen Klopp and Paolo Maldini.
Okay, let's see. So this one was a video of Strakosha dropping the ball into an own goal. That was our nominee, but you don't get to see it. But you all remember the goal. I know Jerry does.
At Samo_33X coming in with another one. Daniel Maldini playing Champions League football before Gianluigi Donnarumma.
That's the winner, man.
That one is top of the pile for me right now. That is the clubhouse leader.
Yeah,
that's the winner. That's so good.
All right. Hakan having his best game since the opener. So can Hakan bring it on a Saturday afternoon against Bologna? He didn't even play in this game.
No, he didn't actually. He didn't.
All right.
Our friend Giuseppe at G Just Juve. Cristiano Ronaldo decided to jump. It's over. Ciao at Cristiano. Grazie with the 2 Z's and the broken Cristiano Ronaldo doll.
Oh, poor Ronaldo. Poor Ronaldo. All right. Art Morelli again. So Juventus against Malmo, tatted it up in shape. Against Serie, out of shape. His running joke about that.
All right, Napoleonismo once again on the board. The only ones that can stop Inter are Pioli, Locatelli, and Çalhanoğlu.
Another shot at Çalhanoğlu.
Has he been that bad this season?
Oh yeah, his normal self.
Yeah, he's back. He's his normal self. Yep.
Bologna FC getting in the act after their 4th goal. They just send up a meme that says, "I just wanted to stop."
Nothing like a little self-deprecation.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on to at Sampdoria_English, Sampdoria_EN. Drink responsibly.
Francesco Puto getting his 2 goals.
Yes.
Jerry's nominating somebody here. So Sir Godoing says, why isn't Ibra on the bench cheering the team on? And Perisic says he mistook Sanremo for San Siro. Oh, that's nice.
We love Perisic. He's great.
That's good.
Let's see here. All right. So Milan Club Philly at Serie Sitdown. My nomination for Who Won Calcio Twitter for your 200th episode is this gem from our boys on the West Coast. At Milan Club, at AC Milan SF, Milan Club San Francisco. Terrible. Couldn't even beat the 19th place relegation side.
Okay, let's see. Next one comes in from at MVB_Stan. Can't believe Milanista are happy with the draw against relegation battlers who have 0 wins. On the same front. I got you. All right.
A previous guest on this program tonight, at Alex Donno, a very important point for Juventus in their race to avoid relegation. Sitting in 18th. Can you believe it? Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Jeez. All right. This one comes in from Nino, ASR Curva Sud 1927. What's the difference between a triangle and Juventus FC? A triangle has 3 points.
Nice.
Oh man.
This is getting great. Okay, at Viola_Nation. Maybe they'll run this next year too for a certain group of Notts County cosplayers in Turin. This was in response to David Farini saying, for Serie B fans, check out the at Hellbiz Live app and website, which is available in certain locations around the globe. The top 4 games of each round are broadcast in both Italian and English at Lega_B.
Yes. Juve Viola.
Notts County cosplayers in Turin. I think we know who that is.
Yes. Big Show, get into it again. It says, retweet if you see your club. And he looks from 10th place through 18th. Oh, there's Juventus. He's waiting for Juventus to retweet him. All right.
Big Show is having a ball with this stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, our 2020 winner at Mourinho_fan. Roma lost to Hellas Verona, which means Juventus slips into the relegation zone. Mourinho is a genius.
Yes, sir. So, which we got? Is the first one?
I have not gotten past the Daniel Maldini over.
Same.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm with that.
Unanimous.
Are we unanimous on this?
Yes.
Let me go grab that, and you guys chat amongst yourselves, and I'll do the retweet on this then.
All right. So, this was a blast. This is a long marathon episode, going on 3.5 hours close to. But Jerry, this is your chance to plug what you got going on and tell people where they can find you on social media.
J Mancini 8, and just doing some recaps on a few of the games, Inter and Lazio. That's about it, basically, for Laziale and Serpents and Mononina. And I didn't see any other games other than Milan and Lazio today. How was the goal, basically, you guys said Spezia had the goal of the day, or is it Verona?
Hellas.
Verona.
Okay. I didn't watch Faraoni. Okay, I didn't watch the game, but
Pellegrini did have a great goal, but I think Faraoni's goal with the volley was just something beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did Roma play today? Were they really bad, or did you guys watch the game, or did you guys see highlights?
Hellas, I mean, it wasn't that they completely played bad. It was just Hellas played a lot better than they had been playing.
Okay.
And they really fought in this one, and they gave it a good go. So yeah, I mean, Roma did play sloppy, and I'm sure Mourinho's going to hate it, but Hellas really stepped up the way they're playing compared to what they played before too.
Okay, I saw John talk. Actually, John, he said awful. I saw his timeline today. He was really disgusted with Roma. I think he's the only guy who actually called them out and said that they're that bad.
Yeah.
So, but
all right,
it is what it is. Can't win them all, right, guys?
That's right.
Yep. You can't win them all. All right. So at Samo_33X, congratulations. You are the Who Won Calcio Twitter. Richard, I think we'll put a bow on this edition of Serie A Sit Down. At long last, our longest Serie A Sit Down podcast ever. Our wives are going to be pissed.
The wives are asleep.
Mine's asleep too. So
they will be pissed though.
Yep, they'll still be upset. But anyway. I warned her. I said this one's going to be a long one. We got a lot of guests on, and it's our 200th. So, Richard, anything else you want to plug?
No, I mean, it's all the guests that we had on today. First and foremost, thank you to all of them.
Amazing.
Make sure you give each and one of them a follow, including Jerry and the Calcio Connection podcast. And then thank you to everyone in the chat, everyone who's been supporting us this whole time. It's just been a truly crazy ride. This whole 6 seasons now going on. So. Thank you to everyone. And as always, follow me at R_KHARMAN.
Okay, you can find me at FTC_21 on Twitter. Serie A Sit Down, we have our own channel on Apple Podcasts, on SoundCloud. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Wherever there's podcasts, you can find Serie A Sit Down. At Serie A Sit Down on Twitter, also on Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook for social media content, questions, comments. You'll all be angry at us for how long this podcast was. Just, break it out into a little make it a mini series. You can a little half hour at a time. You won't miss,
in the car.
Yes,
or like Raffa in the shower in your sleep, whatever.
Yeah. Or the shower listeners. I don't think you're going to take like a 3 hour and 20-minute shower. So, unless that's your thing. I just want to take this time to say, when we started this out, it was like, okay, I'll do this. I'll do this. It'll be fun. I found out Richard was going to. It's like, okay, finally get to talk to Richard for the first time. Usually we're always exchanging messages on fan sites and things like that. And, and as we've grown, we're blessed that we've been able to grind this out and do this for 200 episodes. We're blessed that we have listeners that actually give a shit about what we have to say. We're, to do this long and to just have it be the two of us is a huge grind. We make some sacrifices. We give up a little bit of time here and there, but we also know that you guys get it. And we're really, really grateful that you take the time to listen to us and devote your time to hearing what we have to say about this game, and about this sport in Italy. Listeners, if it wasn't for you, we'd be nothing. We wouldn't be doing this. So thank you so much. Chat, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this. So thank you so much for contributing. Our guests, you guys were all awesome. And we all hope to have you on individually, for an episode here as we get through the season. So, thank you so much for your partnership, and thank you so much for helping us grow our brand, throughout all of these times. When you sit back and you think about it, when I started this off, 200 to do 200 of these was unfathomable. It's like,
Unreal.
But we're so grateful to everybody who takes the time to listen to us. We hope we entertain you a little bit, but more importantly, at least from my perspective, I hope we inform you. At least we're giving you something different to look at as you're watching the games, because that's what we'd like to be able to do. So, let's keep it rolling, man. We'll do 201 next week. We'll make it to that at least, and then we'll see what happens. So
won't be 3 hours, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it won't be 3 hours. We'll get back to our normal regularly scheduled programming. But when you get to 200, you got to do something special, and we'll grind it out. And Richard, lucky to have you as a co-host, and lucky to have a partner on this podcast. And thank you for letting me be long-winded. And my wife always would say, "Let him talk more." And I say, I try to, but it's like I have to get my point across, and I feel like I need more words than what I should. So,
sure, yeah.
And that's why we don't get paid.
It's mutual, brother. So hey, that's been a fun ride.
Yep, awesome. And George, that's a beautiful compliment. Thank you so much. So, guys, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us tonight. It's been a great night. We want to thank all of our guests. We want to thank everybody in the chat, and we'll be back to doing this in like an hour and change next week. So for Richard, I'm Frank, and as always, make sure you're telling your paisans about us. Ciao.